sleeping bag. Can you imagine letting your kids sleep outside now?
No.
No.
Jake, what's your best?
I've never gotten a Christmas gift in my life because I'm Jewish.
I'm an idiot.
But the best
Best
Hanukkah gift I've ever gotten was when I was about 8 years old. Was the same year the NHL launched their third jersey collection for the first time. So that's when the Avs dropped the Colorado burgundy with the going diagonal
I like
outside.
that one.
So 16 teams, half the league decided to do third jerseys as part of this pilot program. Me and my little brother, 8 nights of Hanukkah, all got one jersey each night for our parents.
Wow.
That's sick.
So I was like 8 years old, and I had like half the third jerseys in the NHL. So I had a Blue Jackets one, an Avs one. I had the Calgary Flames one with the horse head on fire. It was Jerome McGinley, so I loved that jersey. Yeah, man, that was the best Hanukkah gift I've ever gotten.
That might be the best one. Because you got 8 of them. Like, that's freaking sweet.
Yeah,
dude.
and like I've saved them, so like one day, if I have
Give me your
kids,
kid.
like they'll have these authentic 2003 like toddler-sized jerseys.
That's freaking sweet.
Yeah.
Well, and it raises the age-old question, religion aside, because we don't need to get into religion, but what's better, Christmas or Hanukkah? Because Hanukkah, you get the 8 gifts guaranteed, whereas Christmas, you can have some elite Christmases. You could get 15 gifts, or you could get 2 or 3 big ones. So I don't know. I mean, I've never experienced Hanukkah. Jake's never experienced Christmas, but I do think that people have that debate of like, would you rather be raised in a Jewish household or a Christian household?
I got a really stupid question. Is your lady Jewish?
No, she's Catholic.
Does she give you 8 gifts?
No, so this is the thing that's become older in my life. I now just get one gift from everyone, not 8.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, generally speaking, it would be like 7 like okay gifts and then one big one for the year. So it was like 7 stocking stuffers and then one big one. But my parents own their own business. So if the business did really well, it would get like 8 really good gifts. Like one year, for instance, I got a PlayStation 2 and I got 7 games.
Dude!
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
Business was booming that year.
But the first night I opened up a PlayStation 2 game. I'm like, you guys messed up. I didn't have a PlayStation 2. And they're like, well, you should open up tomorrow's gift and like we'll just call it,
So you're sitting there with a game and just waiting for the console?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you should probably open up 2 gifts tonight then. So that was cool. But yeah, in my experience, because I've gotten to celebrate Christmas now a little bit now since I've been married. Christmas, it's like one big gift and it's awesome and you've got all the pomp and circumstance around it. Whereas Hanukkah, it's like kind of routine where you get to it every single night. You say your prayer and then you kind of get this one thing and it's this mystery because my parents used to do it with like all different size boxes and it's like, do we want the big box tonight? Do we want the little box tonight? Is the big box actually just a pair of socks? And they put a bunch of things in the box. So, yeah, it was really fun growing up in a Jewish household celebrating Hanukkah like that. And, at least for my parents, they would do it like that. And then my, grandparents would get me, like 7 pairs of, socks and then, one, maybe, a video game or something.
My Aunt Edna every year was good for the tin of popcorn with, cheddar, caramel, and regular.
Elite.
And I'm like, all right, well, I just finished last year's in November, so good thing we got this one to replace it.
You hating on Aunt Edna's popcorn? Come on now.
I mean, it was fine. I knew what I was getting. It's like Jake said with the grandparents. You know what you're getting every year.
I've got more Christmas candy than I know what to do with. I still have last year's, unopened. So it's sealed. I could just have it this year, re-gift it to someone.
Well, speaking of, I did a podcast with our guy Drew Spivak at 1 o'clock today, Mile High Hockey, and we talked about that Avs beatdown over the Wild. But I had 45 minutes to kill, and I had some last minute holiday shopping to sneak in. So I just ran down to the Park Meadows area.
How is it? Because I got the same thing going here.
Bro,
in 2 minutes.
It is chaos. I pull in our parking lot. It's like, oh, no one's working today because everyone's at the mall.
Damn it.
So yeah, avoid I-25 and County Line at all costs.
Right where I'm going.
Yeah, it was. I'm thinking I got 45 minutes. I'll be back in plenty of time. I'm walking back in at 1:55. So yeah, people aren't working today. But it was a good reminder because it's on me, Dover, of
You waited this long.
Yeah, and I had the big stuff. It was just getting some little extra things, maybe a little fun side item to put under the tree. But my point is that we live in a country of procrastinators because while no one is at the office today, everyone's at I-25 and County Line. So shout out to the 500 of you listening right now who are sitting in that traffic that I just dealt with. And apparently you'll get to see Josh Dover here in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I guess I'll go sit in it right now because I have the same. I got 2 small things that I should have already got. And I haven't, and then got the reminder this morning as I'm walking out, like, don't forget grandma's stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's right. I'll have to do that this afternoon.
Well, good luck. Merry Christmas,
Merry
Dover.
Christmas,
Appreciate
happy
you,
Hanukkah.
man. It's
Have a good
Jake
show, boys.
Shapiro and Will Peterson sitting in for the drive today with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on assignment. They will be back on Friday breaking down Broncos and Chiefs. And Jake, it's weird because, it feels like Broncos-Jaguars just happened. And in some senses it did. But we are 52 hours from kickoff in Arrowhead Stadium. Curious your thoughts on sort of liking this fact that there's really no time. Sean talked about you gotta swallow the loss, you gotta digest the loss. Broncos don't have time to do that. We're going to hear from Sean Payton, Bo Nix here this afternoon. They'll be on a plane to Kansas City by this time tomorrow. Coming off a loss, I actually like the fact that the schedule is so compacted this week.
Yeah, it is nice that you get right back out there. I was at the game on Sunday. I was talking to guys in the locker room afterwards, and they're all talking about, like, if you were ever to lose, a short week is the time to lose because you can just get right back out there and flush it. But that's the opposite of what you're saying. And, Will, I've been of the belief that the Broncos kind of needed to lose a game. They kind of needed a wake-up call. I remember when I was a kid growing up, this undefeated Illinois college basketball team with,
Darren Williams?
Yeah, that team. And everyone was talking.
Something maybe?
D
Hart maybe? I don't remember. But Darren
Williams.
Williams.
The Dreads, yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone was talking about, like, going into the Big Ten tournament. It's like, should they actually lose one of these games? We know they're a 1 seed. Do they want the pressure of having an undefeated season? And I kind of think that the Broncos not having the pressure of this win streak is actually a little beneficial. Plus, we all know they've won a couple games with some smoke and mirrors. Like, we know the Broncos are good, but they've also been lucky. So for them to get the wake-up call of, look, it turns out our stuff stinks sometimes too, I think that can be beneficial. But it coming on a short week when they really can't break it down, I think could hurt them in the long term.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think, to Sean's point, you do have to digest what happened. I mean, the defense looked a little leaky at times, and that's a theme we'll get into today, is this defense giving us a case of deja vu, looking leaky down the stretch. But at the same time, I mean, you're playing a Chiefs third-string quarterback that no one's ever heard of on Thursday night in Arrowhead. I mean, this dude played at South Dakota State. Gardner Minshew's on IR. Luckily, didn't tear his ACL for him. Never rooting for injury, so I was glad to see that, but he's not going to play. They signed a nobody, not a nobody, that's too strong a word. They signed an anonymous dude off the Bills practice squad yesterday. I mean, it really is the perfect storm, because think about it this way. What if the Chiefs were still in it in the division or in the wild card, and you had to go there on a short week, coming off a loss where you gave 34 points? That would be scary, right? Because you're thinking this thing's going to kind of unravel on the Broncos. Whereas now, based on the health of Kansas City, or the lack thereof, they're 12.5, 13-point favorites. I mean, the odds makers are expecting Denver to go in there and handle business in a perfect world. And I know they still have to play the football game, but in a perfect world, this is an ideal bounce-back spot on Thursday night.
2 weeks ago, I was looking at this game going, Mahomes' last gasp at making the playoffs this year. Kelsey's going to retire. This is going to be the Chiefs going all out to beat your butt at their home stadium. That's only going to be their home stadium for a couple more years right after that was announced. Like, this was a really scary game on paper, and that all dissipated into what is the Chiefs have two quarterbacks on the roster who had not completed a pass in the NFL before last week.
That's crazy. Yeah, and if the defense needs to get back on track, this is the time to do it. I mean, I look at this like, I don't expect the Chiefs to score more than 10 points. It'll kind of be a disappointment if they do. I think the number should be single digits. Hold them to 0 through 9. And if the offense wants to go 31, score 31, that's great. But this is a game the Broncos need to get out of healthy. We'll get our first real injury report here in the next hour. We'll certainly pass that along to folks. We're keeping a big-time eye on Dre Greenlaw, what's going on there with him. But, I mean, this on paper, Jake, go win 24-7. What should have been the score in the desert in Vegas. You know, they got the 10 garbage time points, including the field goal. They created a lot of controversy at the buzzer. But go win 24-7, take your mini bye, and we'll see if Week 18 is for all the marbles. But the way this set up for the Broncos, put it this way. When the schedule came out in May, none of us knew how ideally Christmas night in Arrowhead was going to set up for them.
I'd love to see the defense bust the turnover dam. It seems like this defense we all know is pretty solid, and recently it's had some hiccups for sure. But the thing that's held this defense back from being an all-time defense, in my opinion, is the fact that they just don't generate that many turnovers. If they come out of this game against Kansas City with 2 interceptions and a strip sack or something like that, I think that sets them up well moving forward of saying, hey, this defense can go out and get the ball when it needs to.
Yeah, and honestly, you're right. Turnovers have been an issue, yet like when PS2 gets the pick against the Packers, it changed the whole game, what they couldn't do against Jacksonville when they had opportunities to perhaps change the whole game. All right, it's Will Peterson and Jake Shapiro in for Zach By and Phillip Lindsay. Got so much to do today, including the news that came out this morning. The Broncos are tied with the most Pro Bowl selections in the NFL. We'll tell you who's going and who's not going to the Pro Bowl coming up next.
Did Nikola Jokic just set an NBA record that will never be broken?
That is a record that he is going to put away, retire it, lock it away. Stoke, it's never going to be beaten. I am confident in saying that Nikola Jokic is going to put the all-time assist record by a center in a place where it will never be touched ever again.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
What's going on, everybody? Phillip Lindsay here with the one and only Williams Jewelers. And guys, I know there's at least 50 of you listening right now who are thinking about popping that question, and you know you need a diamond. So right now, I'm going to save you time and money by telling you this. You need to go see my jeweler, Williams Jewelers, for that perfect diamond engagement ring or that ultimate holiday gift. Or hey, just because that special somebody really deserves it. This holiday, imagine the finest jewelry legends all in one store together, making you feel just like family, and their service is going to reflect that. So come shop the finest loose diamonds in Denver. They have every size, shape, and price range you could imagine, in the largest selection of engagement ring settings I've ever set eyes on. And not only are they going to share the secrets of the business with you, but they're going to give you the best price in Colorado, guaranteed. So why wouldn't you want to create moments and memories for yourself and the ones you love by going to Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche, Denver's first family of fine jewelers, located in Cheer Creek North on 3rd Avenue and also in Inglewood at Broadway and Bellevue. And don't forget to mention my name, Phillip Lindsay, when you step through one of those doors.
This holiday season, AutoNation is unwrapping the biggest gift of all, the car you actually want with zero down and no payments for 90 days. With our coast-to-coast inventory of nearly 100,000 new and used cars, trucks, and crossovers, you'll find exactly what you're looking for. Zero down, no payments until April. That's the deal you deserve on the car you love. Hurry to your nearest AutoNation store or AutoNation.com. Limited term financing on approved credit. Interest accrues from date of purchase on deferred payments. See store for details.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity. What if more reliable didn't mean more expensive? With Xfinity, you can get reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi for less. We're talking intelligent gig-speed Wi-Fi for $50 a month. This holiday season through January 4th, Xfinity is offering their best price on gig-speed Wi-Fi, guaranteed for 5 years. No contracts, no strings attached. You could save $3,000 over Verizon and AT&T. Imagine getting super fast Wi-Fi at the same price for 5 years. Get everything you need from Xfinity, their best Wi-Fi equipment, and even unlimited data, all included at their best price. Get ready to be wowed by your Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto-paid with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary. Savings based on promo and post-promo prices for 1 gig internet, 1 unlimited line, and Peacock Premium versus Verizon 1 gig internet and AT&T 1000 internet and 1 unlimited starter SL line.
Guys, this is Christine from Beau Visage Skincare and Spa. The holiday is almost here, but there's still time to buy that special woman a gift package at Beau Visage. Whether you buy a European facial, soothing massages, or another of our fabulous services, I guarantee at Beau Visage she'll be pampered in luxury, all at very competitive prices. Plus, it's easy shopping. Call 303-779-5002 or bvspa.com. That's bvspa.com.
Be careful if you haven't filed taxes in a while. The IRS is going after non-filers like never before. Whether you have income taxes or payroll taxes that have not been filed, Advanced Tax Solutions can help you get back in the system and avoid trouble with the IRS before they show up or send you a scary letter. Call the people I trust, Advanced Tax Solutions. They'll help you get back into the system and off the IRS's radar. 303-753-6040 or visit advancedtaxsolutions.com.
Colorado's largest Sportsman's Expo is back, January 8th through 11th at the Colorado Convention Center in Denver. Just once a year, Colorado's largest gathering for anglers, hunters, and RVers. Buy the latest gear, discover the best destinations. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, January 8th through 11th at the Colorado Convention Center in Denver. More info at sportsexpos.com.
Get ready for every Broncos game with Super Bowl 50 champion Brandon Marshall as he joins The Drive every Friday afternoon at 4:45 exclusively on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Thanks to Corwin Toyota Boulder. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. DenverSports.com and the Denver Sports app. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
And we are off and rolling on a Tuesday. It's Phil Peterson in for Zach By, hanging out with my guy Jake Shapiro. Hopefully you are getting your last-minute holiday shopping in. I know a lot of folks are.
Down the road from us here in Greenwood Village, we're going to get Sean Payton and Bo Nix at the podium this afternoon as the Broncos will do everything this Tuesday. They're going on a plane tomorrow, head to Kansas City for their Christmas night tilt with the Chiefs. We'll also bring you the latest injury updates. Sean Payton has not started speaking yet, so we can't pass those along, but we will as soon as we know the status of key starters a la Dre Greenlaw and others when that injury report drops. But Jake, it was Pro Bowl day. The Broncos have 6 Pro Bowlers, tied for the most in the NFL. Yeah, you go 12-3 to this point, an 11-game winning streak. That makes sense. But let's just start with this. How much does the Pro Bowl get you excited, my friend? And I'll pass along those 6 names here in a minute.
I'll be watching the NBA that day. Yeah, I won't be watching the Pro Bowl. I don't think anyone really cares about the Pro Bowl at this point. I mean, I guess the players do because it adds incentives into their contract. They get excited about being honored. I understand from their perspective, but I think with our ability now to watch every single game, which is not something our fathers or our grandfathers' generations could say, the All-Star games in general are kind of just something that is not that interesting. At least with the Pro Bowl, they're trying to do something a little bit different, and they're not just playing a straight-up game. They do these events, and I end up watching, parts of it, and then the viral clips get shown of, here is, who is that the one year? The Raiders quarterback that went to New Orleans. What's his name?
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr missing all those throws in that target drill. So it's fun to see these guys try to make these immaculate catches or whatever, but ultimately, I'm not moved by this, Will. I'll be moved by whoever makes the All-Pro team. I think that is more true of the recognitions that the players are striving towards.
Yeah, and that's where I'm with you, too. It's a big deal today for these 6 guys, okay? And the 6 that made the Pro Bowl for the Broncos are Pat Surtain, of course, making his 4th Pro Bowl of his career, best corner in the NFL, reigning Defensive Player of the Year. You've also got Courtland Sutton making a Pro Bowl for the 2nd time in his career, and Nick Bonito getting his 2nd selection as well. And then you get some first-timers, and you get first-timers in Zach Allen, Quinn Miners, and Garrett Bowles. I mean, look, these 6 guys, that's adding to your resume. And yeah, All-Pro is technically a bigger deal because it's tougher to make. I mean, people are always going to reference, well, Trevor Siemian made the Pro Bowl. Well, he made it was like a 7th alternate, but he did technically add Pro Bowler to his resume. That said, this is one of the gold standards for measuring you're the best in your position in the entire NFL. And for the Broncos to have 6 of them, that was pretty cool. I'm with you. The game itself, February 3rd at the Moscone Center in San Francisco, not going to be tuned in. In fact, I hope I'm in San Francisco on February 3rd, along with the entire Denver Broncos roster. Because, Jake, they will not obviously participate in these festivities if they're playing in the Super Bowl on February 8th against either the Rams or the Seahawks or the Niners or the Eagles, whoever emerges from the NFC. So this is a big honor, don't get me wrong, but if you turn on your TV on February 3rd and you see all these Broncos, that's not a good sign. That means they lost somewhere along the way in the playoffs.
So you're telling me there's a good chance that me and you are covering the Pro Bowl in person as 2 people who normally do not watch the Pro Bowl?
No, because no Broncos would be there, so we would have no reason to go to said Pro Bowl games.
Perfect.
Yes.
Love to hear that.
Hopefully we're covering the Broncos and, the Rams at their respective media availabilities that day, and the Pro Bowl is just an afterthought. But, yeah, they are, because it's always hard to keep up. Sometimes they would do it the week after the Super Bowl. Sometimes they do it the week before the Super Bowl. Like, they always were moving it on the calendar. This year, it's 5 days before the Super Bowl, but in the Super Bowl host city. Game will technically be in Santa Clara, but the players themselves will be in San Francisco. Any snubs? Again, the list of Pro Bowlers is Benito, Allen, Miners, Surtain, Bowles, and Sutton. Anyone jump to mind? Oh my gosh, I can't believe they're not a Pro Bowler for the Broncos.
Well, the Broncos are one of 4 teams with 6 Pro Bowlers, and you look at the others, it's San Francisco, Seattle. That makes sense. The Broncos are among the most winning teams in the NFL this year. And then Baltimore. How did Baltimore get 6 Pro Bowlers as a team that's 7-8 this year?
That's a good question.
That's kind of where I'm curious about. But in terms of zeroing in on the Broncos, I think Marvin Mims, as a 2-time Pro Bowl selection, as a return guy, I know he missed a significant chunk of the season. The part that you probably need to play in if you're going to make the Pro Bowl. When he plays, the Broncos are a completely different team in terms of their field position, in terms of their pop. So I would say Marvin Mims as a returner got snubbed on this list. I'd also add, and I don't know how you feel about this one, Will, I think Hufunga's been freaking awesome this year, and I could have seen that one going either way. They've got so many Pro Bowlers. I'm not complaining about the 6, but Hufunga's a guy, if he's not a Pro Bowler, he deserves just some recognition there.
Yeah, no, I think 2 worthy names. You're right. Mims is battling health stuff that hurt his case, but Hufunga, you could make a case he's been the best player on the Broncos defense. And of course, they do have 3 guys from their defense going, and Benito, Allen, and Surtain, 3 on offense as well. But yeah, Hufunga's really flowing around the field. I don't think he's done himself a ton of favors on some of the interceptions. I think there's been 3 or 4 that we can all think of that, Hufunga so close. Maybe if he gets a couple picks under his belt, he would be in there. But that's a good name. And then I'll throw out another one, and it's Bo Nix. He is going to be a second alternate for the Pro Bowl, according to our 9 News and 104.3 The Fan insider, Mike Kliss. The AFC Pro Bowl QBs are Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, and Drake May. So hard to argue with that list. Allen obviously drags the Bills everywhere he goes. He reminds me of some Nikola Jokic. Like, if you took Jokic off the Nuggets, they wouldn't even be a 500 team. They'd be a 30-win team. If you took Allen off the Bills, they'd be a 6 or 7 win football team at best. So I get that. Herbert has battled through a lot of toughness this year in L.A., and then Drake May's an MVP candidate. So, yeah, the path to Bo getting there was hard, but at the same time, the way he's played over the last, 6 weeks, you could make a case Bo Nix deserves to be a Pro Bowler this season.
There's no doubt about it, because he's led one of the most winning teams in the NFL. I don't know that he's really stunned people with his play until, like you said, the last couple weeks, but he is among the top players in the league this year on top performing teams. So that in itself will earn recognition towards the game. I think that this is right, that Bo is not a Pro Bowler, but he is just on the outside looking in. I don't know what would need to happen for him to get in. The Broncos obviously not making the Super Bowl, one of those teams making the Super Bowl, and someone else getting hurt.
Or just opting out, saying I don't feel like it, because I think that's kind of why that's why Simeon got to go, because I think like 4 guys in front of him are like, I'm good. So, but yeah, if Bo Nix is in the Pro Bowl, that's not a good thing for Broncos fans. We want Bo Nix to be in the Super Bowl,
right? So there's bigger things on the table for Bo Nix to achieve, but for me, I was kind of hoping, I had my fingers crossed. I was like, it would be ridiculous if Bo Nix won the MVP this year. But if they won that game against Jacksonville, and then all of a sudden they're playing on Christmas in prime time, and Bo has a good game, there was a chance going into Week 18 that Bo had serious MVP hype. That obviously is no longer on the table. And if you have serious MVP hype, or you're in that conversation and he was 4th in MVP odds going into that game last week, it makes sense that you'd be among the players in that candidacy.
The RamboSlaw.com text line 303-713-1043. Nothing fires people up like the Pro Bowl. A lot of good texts coming in. Keep them coming. The 2534 says, I am glad so many Broncos got in the Pro Bowl, but it sucks so bad. It was fun when they actually played a game with helmets and pads on, but flag football and dodgeball and all that stuff is just so dumb. Yeah, I actually think the texter is spot on there. There was a time when dudes went to the Pro Bowl and played football and hit each other. And there were some big hits. I think the late Sean Taylor had a massive hit in a Pro Bowl game that you'll still see highlights of today. And then there was a year, call it 4 or 5 seasons ago, where just everyone refused to tackle, and that's when Roger Goodell finally pulled the plug on it. But it's a larger commentary, Jake. There's no good All-Star games left, and I understand the NBA's trying, and the NHL, the Four Nations thing was actually a lot of fun last year, but that wasn't really an All-Star game. That was more of like a pre-Olympic format. I guess baseball's the only one that still has any little juice left in it. These All-Star games are becoming more and more unwatchable.
Baseball's decent because it still resembles the sport it actually is, and the guys try, and they only have to try hard for a few minutes. But even this past year, when it turns into a swing-off, and it was a really awesome All-Star game that I'll remember, you didn't have the best players available for the swing-off because the guys left to go on vacation.
Right. They weren't even in the stadium anymore.
Right. So it cheapens the game. I still think the only thing that I really tune into out of all of the All-Star games is the home run derby I'll watch, in the slam dunk contest. No matter how many times I swear I won't watch another one, Will. Every year around this time of year, I go, oh, the slam dunk contest is coming up. I got to get in on the slam dunk contest.
And then about 10 minutes in, you're like, why did I plan my Saturday night around the slam dunk contest?
Yeah, and before the final, I'm out the door doing something else.
All right, well, congratulations to Bonito, Allen, Miner, Surtan, Bowles, and Sutton. Alex Singleton, it's also being reported, is an alternate. Devon Key, a special teams tackling machine, is a Pro Bowl alternate as a special teamer. And then you heard it that Bo Nix is a second-team guy as well as an alternate. Going to need some things to go his way to go to the Pro Bowl. But again, we hope the Broncos are preparing for the Super Bowl, and the Pro Bowl is a total afterthought on February 3rd out there in San Francisco. Hey, the Nuggets poured it in from 3 last night. Why can't they shoot like this more often? A dominant win over the Jazz, plus another game tonight. We'll dissect both next.
Will the Broncos take care of business in primetime and sweep the Chiefs? We'll break it all down in a special Christmas Day edition of the Fan Football Pregame Show, live on game day starting at 4 p.m. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
The other night, I was looking at old holiday photos, years where I felt sharp, energized, really present. Somewhere along the way, I stopped feeling like the man, that guy that my wife and my kids are looking for every single day. I was tired all the time, skipping my workouts, putting on weight, failing to get that proper amount of sleep, and my sex drive just wasn't there. If you're dealing with the same thing that I'm dealing with, then you need to go see my friends at Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic today. They are experts in treating low testosterone and other men's sexual health conditions. They successfully treated tens of thousands of men that were dealing with low T. And a lot of these men have seen amazing differences that these treatments can make in their life. So if you're just like these men that are dealing with low T, then within just a few weeks of the treatments, you'll feel your energy return, the brain fog will go away, your sleep will improve, as with those workouts. Take the low T quiz on their website. It's a simple 10-question quiz full of yes or no answers. It takes 2 minutes to do. Then what you're going to do is schedule a consult with Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. They're going to draw your blood and have the results within 30 minutes. They also have 5 locations out there to serve you, so there are no excuses. Fort Collins, North Denver, Central Denver, Castle Rock, and Colorado Springs. Give them a call today at 720-440-7900 or visit RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Dan Jacobs for 303 Law 4040, and I'm here with that beautiful voice you hear on the other end of the phone oftentimes when you call 303 Law 4040. It's my lovely wife, Kimberly. Kim, I know you and I had so much fun the other day. We actually met with a couple that had been in an accident up north in their house the other day, and Randy was so excited. He's like, I can't believe it. It's the lovely wife. She's right here in my kitchen.
He's too kind. It was really great to meet him and his wife and his pets and just be able to help them.
I think it helps that when you answer the phone, when people call 303 Law 4040, it makes things, I know calling a lawyer can be scary, but I don't know, your soothing voice just makes it a little bit easier.
Well, I just want to help. That's all. And I know how to do that.
I love the holidays. I always like to wish our listeners happy holidays. Would you like to do so as well?
Absolutely. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful new year.
And I hope you never need us, but just in case, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040. That's 303 Law 4040.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. The holidays will be here before you know it, and for many families, that means excitement, but also stress. Between gifts, travel, and higher prices, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially if you're already relying on credit cards to cover the basics. If that debt is piling up, you're not alone. If you're a homeowner, you might have considered reaching out to my friends at American Financing, but hesitated because you don't want to give up your low mortgage rate. That's why American Financing created the Smart Equity Loan, a simple, smart way to get your finances back on track without giving up your low mortgage rate. Unlike a HELOC, which can fluctuate with the market, the Smart Equity Loan offers a fixed rate, so you'll have one predictable monthly payment. It lets you use your home's equity to pay off high-interest debt free up cash flow, and still keep your existing mortgage intact. There are no upfront fees to find out if you qualify. Call American Financing at 303-695-7000 or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 18234, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
As the year winds down, Groove Toyota is here to help you gear up for what's next. Lock in 1.99% APR for up to 60 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on the new 2025 Toyota Tacoma SR5. With Toyotathon in full swing, Groove Toyota has zero down lease options on top models, making this the easiest time of the year to upgrade. Finish the year strong with Groove Toyota on Broadway in Inglewood or at GrooveToyota.com.
Offer expires 1/5/26. Not all will qualify. Restrictions apply. With approved credit, call 720-961-4465 for complete details.
You know that feeling when you catch a glimpse in the mirror and think, hey, I look 10 years younger. That's what happens when you stop dieting and start doing Soda weight loss.
I tried point counting, calorie counting, shots, and nothing has worked until Soda weight loss.
Soda weight loss gives you a personal nutritionist you can text anytime.
Everybody's great here. Everybody's encouraging. There were some times where I felt down and they brought me back up. If you stick with this program, you will lose weight and you will get to your goal weight.
When you sign up for Soda weight loss, your partner joins for free.
If you're ready to feel stronger, healthier, and yes, look and feel 10 years younger, this is your moment. No meds, no gimmicks, just real results with real support.
Remember, sign up now and your partner joins for free. Visit sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Most business owners and decision makers work hard but stay frustrated because customers simply don't know they exist. Marketing isn't about being flashy. It's about making sure people understand how you solve their problem. Audio, video, and online campaigns put your message where your customers are already paying attention. And your friends at Denver Sports, they specialize in connecting customers to businesses. The moment you get clear and show up consistently, growth follows. Don't stay the best kept secret in town. Visit DenverSports.com and click on the Advertise with Us button and start growing today.
Last minute gifting? Head to your local Verizon store where giving and saving go hand in hand. Find great deals on phones, tablets, watches, and more. Everything you need to finish your holiday list. Visit your local Verizon store today.
You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Nothing like some Grinch. I'm feeling like the Grinch with it being 70 degrees on December 23rd. It's Will Peterson in for Zach By. Jake Shapiro hanging out for my guy Phillip Lindsay. We'll take you home.
Humbug, Will.
Just say, yeah, I'm feeling that way. It's too hot for Christmas. We'll take you home till 6 tonight. Denver Sports Tonight with our guy Chad Andrus from 6 to 7. But Jake, we were talking about the Pro Bowl, and another good suggestion came in on the RamosLaw.com text line from the 1724. Says, shout out to J.K. Dobbins, who was on pace for serious Pro Bowl consideration prior to the injury. That's from Joey. Yeah, Joey, I would agree with you that Dobbins was trending that direction, and it's a good pull by you. Guy was in the top 5 in a lot of metrics in rushing across the entire NFL. Unfortunately, the injury derailed his case. But yeah, there's a lot of names, and Sean's at the podium right now. Sean Payton is talking about some of the guys who could have gotten snubbed. He brought up Hufanga as well, which shout out to you, Jake. You brought up Hufanga too. So we'll get back into some of that as the show goes on, plus some injury news coming out from Broncos Park powered by Common Spirit. We'll hit that coming up at 2:45 here. But in the meantime, the Nuggets absolutely pounded the Utah Jazz last night, 135-112, and this is going to be a weird sentence when they won by 23. The game wasn't even that close. The Nuggets started up 19-0. I mean, it was truly over 5-6 minutes down there at Ball Arena last night. What were your biggest takeaways from a dominant Nuggets win, a night where they made a lot of threes, Jake?
Yeah, the shooting was awesome last night. We can get into that in a little bit. Lauri Markkanen is a guy that probably should be an all-star this year. That was one of my takeaways. He's going to be a fringe player, and you're like, Jake, we don't care about Lauri Markkanen. Here's why it matters.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth, so yeah.
He's from the Western Conference.
Okay.
Every single spot from the Western Conference that's taken by somebody else is one more spot harder for Jamal Murray. And additionally, Lauri Markkanen is a foreign player, and there's only 8 foreign all-stars getting in this year. Jamal Murray is obviously foreign. He's from Canada. Nikola Jokic is getting in. Victor Wembanyama's getting in. Luka Doncic is getting in. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's getting in. It's going to get pretty tight for Jamal Murray. So that's one of the things I've been monitoring is just other players performing well around the league. From the Nuggets perspective, Tim Hardaway Jr. was fantastic again last night. He's a guy that's just, I think, come in here and shifted the tides, Will. When's the last time the Nuggets have gotten a guy that can just consistently score 20 off the bench on their team? I mean, there was a stretch with Bones Highland, but you really have to go back to Michael Porter Jr., Will Barton, when one of those guys was coming off the bench, and you're like, okay, that guy can actually get buckets. So,
yeah, the first name that came to mind for me was J.R. Smith, if we want to go way back, the 09 team that should have been in the NBA Finals. JR had that ability for George Karl, but it's been a long time. You're right.
And Tim's kind of got a little bit of that JR in him, right, where he just hoists threes, and he's had a couple nice dunks lately, which I think has surprised some people because he's 33 years old.
Yeah, he still can move. Yep.
Yeah, still has that up. So Tim's just been fantastic. He's shooting on the year from 41%. It's exactly what the Nuggets have needed. He's been fantastic in this stretch without Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon, and just getting consistent bench scoring. Last night, Will, Jonas Valanciunas had a double-double. The last Nuggets backup center to have a double-double, DeAndre Jordan, one time. And he did it against the Jazz during the championship season.
Wow.
The last guy before him was Yusuf Nurkic, who was playing against Jonas Valanciunas in the Denver Nuggets last night. That's how long it's been, Will, since the Denver Nuggets were getting this type of production from their bench. We're talking about J.R. Smith. We're talking about early Nikola Jokic era when Yusuf Nurkic was coming off the bench. So that bench production is one of the reasons why they're able to blow out a team this year. Whereas last year, you'd get off to a 19-0 start, and then it would be chipped away, and it all of a sudden was 7 points, and Nikola Jokic is back in the game. So this bench just continues to impress me, Will.
Yeah, no, the bench was a big key last night, and especially in a game where David Adelman was comfortable playing his bench, because when you're up 25 points after the fourth quarter and you're playing a back-to-back, you're just more concerned with everyone being fresh for the following night as they're in Dallas here taking on the Mavericks in about 3.5 hours. So, yeah, I thought the bench was key, but man, I can't get over going 24 or 46 from three. I mean, 52% from the three-point line. That is an incredible number. 46 threes, there's going to be some old school people that cringe at that going, I can't believe they shot 46 threes. But guess what? You make 24 of them, you're going to win a lot of NBA games. And we haven't thought of the Nuggets as a very good shooting team over the last several years, even when they've been very good. With the additions of Cam Johnson and Tim Hardaway Jr., you got Jamal making 6 threes as well last night. Maybe the tides have turned a little bit, that the Nuggets can actually shoot the rock a little bit now, too.
I'm going to give you a stat that tells you everything. Do you know the last time the Nuggets took 46 threes in a game?
Gosh, you could tell me it's been a couple years.
Game 5. Round 2 against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Wow. Okay. So just last season.
Yep. And you know what they shot in that game, Will? They lost it. We all know that. They shot from 3 in that game 28%.
So you were taking the high volume, but they weren't falling like they did last night.
Correct. And that was one of the biggest problems in the Thunder series, right? They couldn't create any space for Jokic and Murray to work because they didn't have enough shooters on the floor. If they just hit a couple threes in that game, Nuggets are going up 3-2 on the Thunder, right? Like they just need to close out one game and they're fine. So I think that tells you everything because it shows you the Nuggets have the horses in the barn this year, whereas last year they didn't have the horses to hit those threes. They're shooting 3 more threes per game this year than they were last year, and their 3-point percentage last year was among the best in the league. Well, right now they're shooting 40% from 3 as a team. That is number 1 in the NBA. And I know they're only shooting at the 22nd highest clip in the NBA, but that's not surprising because they have the best 2-point scorer in the league, Nikola Jokic. So they're going to pound the paint. Last year, they were by far and away the worst 3-point shooting team in terms of attempts. So I'm not telling you that the Nuggets are going to shoot like this every night. It's ridiculous that it's phrased on our sheet. Sorry, guys. Can the Nuggets just shoot like this every night? No, because they would be the greatest 3-point shooting team ever. But can they shoot more like this every night? And I think we're learning that the answer is yes this season. And that's one of the reasons why Jamal Murray has been so good to start the season. It's because he has the players around him to create space.
Yeah, and Cam Johnson, goes 6 for 6 from 3 last night. I mean, you can't be more efficient than that. I'm not obviously breaking any news, but
7th time in NBA history, 3 guys hit 6 threes in the same game.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a fun stat right there. And also, I think it just... there's a lot of chatter and noise out there about, the Nuggets lost the Michael Porter Jr. trade because he's putting up big numbers for the Nets. That just couldn't be further from the truth. First of all, the Nets stink, and the Nuggets are off to their best start in franchise history. They are very hollow numbers that MPJ is putting up on a bad basketball team. And second, the Nuggets freed up so much cap space by getting out of that MPJ contract. That's the reason Bruce Brown is back home. They were able to sign a guy like Hardaway Jr., able to sign a guy like Jonas Valanciunas. Like, Jake, the idiots out there, and I'm sorry for such a strong word 2 days before Christmas, but that's what they are. They're idiots. The idiots out there who want to compare the MPJ Cam Johnson like it was some 1-for-1. First of all, they're just delusional about everything else the Nuggets could do. And then second of all, Cam Johnson last night is starting to come in his own. He scores 20 points on 9 shots. MPJ would dream of doing that. That was a great trade for the Nuggets, and I maintain, even with Porter's really good numbers in Brooklyn, that Ben Tenzer and Jonathan Wallace hit a home run on that deal.
I still need to see what it all looks like when Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon are healthy and the team is fully integrated, because Cam was struggling before those guys went down. I said on the Mile High Hoops podcast that I do twice a week for us here at Denver Sports that this is going to be a great opportunity for Cam with those guys going down to accelerate that process. So now that those guys are all going to be healthy here soon, I want to know what that looks like. But them having the ability to get Jonas Valanciunas because of that trade, to me, was the big home run.
Sure.
Cam Johnson is a very even player to Michael Porter Jr., maybe a little bit less good. They would have gotten Bruce Brown and Tim Hardaway Jr. either way. But just Jonas Valanciunas in himself is so important. And because of those trades, they still have an extra roster spot, and they have the ability to sign somebody the rest of the year or make a trade of significant dollar portions that they would not be able to anyway. So we're going to see if the Nuggets work with that in the next 6 weeks, which they still could. But I got to be honest with you. That last roster spot's going to Spencer Jones, who's been fantastic.
Yeah.
So they'll find another way to make that all happen. But I think that trade's been great. I don't regret it in the slightest, because right now at 125 points per 100 possessions, the Denver Nuggets are the number 1 offense in the history of the NBA.
Wow. That's pretty hard to wrap your mind around. I guess when you have Nikola Jokic, it can make sense. But the history of the league, we'll see if they can keep up that pace. All right, coming up next, we do have that injury report from Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit. It's not necessarily great news. We'll dive into it on the other side.
Denver is headed to Arrowhead for a Christmas showdown with Kansas City. Get yourself ready for kickoff with Denver Game Day, powered by Common Spirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos. Live on Game Day starting at 2 p.m. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Your air duct cleaning experts, Ductworks.
Hey guys, feeling cooped up this winter? Mark Schlereth here. You know these Colorado nights can get freezing cold with your furnace running non-stop just to keep things cozy. But here's the thing. While your heating system is working overtime, it's also blowing dust, dirt, and debris through your air ducts and straight to the air you breathe. That's where Ductworks comes in. Your trusted air duct cleaning experts. Using a powerful combination of scraping and vacuuming technology, the Ductworks team clears out years of buildup, grime, and other gunk hiding in your ductwork. The results? Cleaner, fresher air, better energy efficiency, and a healthier home or office for you and your family. Don't wait until spring. Breathe easier now with top-rated service from Ductworks. Call them at 303-425-0985 or visit them online today at ductworks.com for a free residential or commercial estimate.
303-425-0985.
Hi, I'm Lexi, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. If you're planning to propose this holiday, we're ready to make creating your engagement ring a warm, welcoming experience. At Shane Company, we're all about your style, your budget, your dream engagement ring. Explore the widest selection of diamonds and ring settings ready for you to see in person, or visit us at shaneco.com. You'll have your ring in days, not weeks. Our friendly jewelry consultants don't work on commission. There's never any pressure, just perfect proposals. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
From the Alpine Bank family, member FDIC, to yours. We wish you peace, happiness, and serenity. Merry Christmas.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity. What if more reliable didn't mean more expensive? With Xfinity, you can get reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi for less. We're talking intelligent, gig-speed Wi-Fi for $50 a month. This holiday season through January 4th, Xfinity is offering their best price on gig-speed Wi-Fi, guaranteed for 5 years. No contracts, no strings attached. You could save $3,000 over Verizon and AT&T. Imagine getting super fast Wi-Fi at the same price for 5 years. Get everything you need from Xfinity, their best Wi-Fi equipment, and even unlimited data, all included at their best price. Get ready to be wowed by your Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto-paid with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary. Savings based on promo and post-promo prices for 1 gig internet, 1 unlimited line, and Peacock Premium versus Verizon 1 gig internet and AT&T 1000 internet and 1 unlimited starter SL line.
Stay up to date on the Broncos with our 9 News Broncos insider Mike Kliss. Presented by Fitness Gallery. Hear the latest from every practice and every game every single week during football season. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, we're having a lot of fun here on a Tuesday, Christmas Eve, Festivus.
For the rest of us.
Yes, we'll do some airing of grievances as the show rolls on. He's Jake Shapiro. I'm Will Peterson hanging out with you today. Zach and Phil will be back on Friday reacting to Broncos and Chiefs. But in the meantime, practice has ended at Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit. And we've got a handful of key players / starters not on the field for the Broncos. The biggest name, of course, is Dre Greenlaw. He was a DNP today. That comes from our senior Broncos writer, Andrew Mason. His story is live at DenverSports.com. You'll remember Greenlaw pulled up near the sideline in the final moments with a hamstring injury. Broncos quickly ruled him out. Jake, this is just one that's concerning, and we're going to have to keep an eye on because this is a dude who has dealt with injuries all year. You know, we remember he was going to play in that third preseason game against New Orleans, and the last second, it's like, well, he's not playing. Then he missed a bunch of games, and why didn't he go on IR and this and that? And we were finally getting the full Dre Greenlaw experience, and yeah, I'm 99% sure he's going to get ruled out tomorrow and not play against the Chiefs. I don't know that for a fact, but he didn't practice today. They won't practice tomorrow. It's a short week. All the arrows are pointing toward him not playing against Kansas City. So Greenlaw's the one I'm watching. I want to give you the other ones, though. Pat Bryant, of course, with a scary, scary injury, leaves the stadium in an ambulance. He didn't practice. He's not going to play. Nate Atkins, we saw him get hurt early in that game as well, and people may poo-poo it, but Nate Atkins, he's kind of been a guy that when Sean's put him in the right places, he's made play for the Broncos.
And a lot of people didn't see that injury, but it sounds like that one could be pretty bad.
Could be bad. He hasn't been put on IR yet, so I guess maybe that's a good sign, but we'll see. And then the other one that Mace led his story with is center Luke Wattenberg, also a DNP today. That offensive line, we know Powers got hurt, but they've had a lot of good cohesion. 4 names that I just gave you. All 4 names that even if you're, if you're a diehard fan, you know all 4 names. Even if you're a casual fan, you probably know all 4 names. Broncos not exactly healthy going into this game against the Chiefs. Kind of what we expected, but also now been confirmed.
What a disastrous last few minutes of that game with both Greenlaw and Bryant going down for the Broncos. And, never stop trying, never quit. Like, I get it, but there is a time to throw in the towel, and it seems so foolish that, one play after Bryant gets that devastating injury that you're like, all right, now we're going to give up. So it just stinks. You hate injuries, but as you said, Will, one of the biggest impact injuries you could have to this team was J.K. Dobbins. he's already done for the year most likely. Maybe comes back for the late stretch of the playoffs. One of the second biggest impact injuries you could have is to Dre Greenlaw, because those are the positions the Broncos just don't have that much depth at. And for me, when I look at this Broncos team, one of the places that I see a weakness is at linebacker. I don't think Alex Singleton has played that well this year. Obviously, he's gone through a lot, and he led the team in tackles. But if you watch the film on that game against Jacksonville, Singleton gets caught up to dry a couple times. And we've seen the Broncos have trouble guarding tight ends throughout the course of the season. And in my nightmare, darkest, worst part of Christmas nightmare type thing, I'm just like, does this random quarterback for Kansas City just torch with Kelsey right up the Broncos linebacker corpse, which has been a problem all year? Like, that's kind of my fear for Christmas. I don't think that's actually going to happen. That's just an intrusive thought. But I could see this being a problem if Dre Greenlaw is not back on the field come Wild Card Weekend. If the Broncos are playing on Wild Card Weekend, let's say it's against the Pittsburgh Steelers, their entire team is based around tight ends. They run 12 personnel. They run 13 personnel. Like, that will be a problem for the Broncos, especially without Dre Greenlaw, and this defense has looked different with Dre Greenlaw on it.
Yeah, and it's a very fair point by you, because Kelsey had a very good game against the Broncos here at Mile High, over 90 yards and a touchdown that day, but he also was playing with Patrick Mahomes. That said, the good news today is that the Broncos are getting reinforcements at linebacker, because Justin Strnad did practice today, and Kareem Reed did as well, as the Broncos continue to ramp him up. He's still on the IR, but Strnad, when he got hurt against the Packers, I was worried. The guy couldn't barely walk off the field. I was worried that could have been his season. And let's be honest, they survived without Greenlaw when your duo was Strnad and Singleton for those first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. It sucks. Again, we don't know anything officially. Greenlaw will get a designation tomorrow. I'm 99% sure he's going to get ruled out. But Strnad coming back this quickly and missing only one game would be a nice little bonus for the Broncos.
It's kind of like with Strnad and Locke. You have two starters who aren't starters on your defense, because last year they basically were.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went in and made some big free agent pickups, and those guys have been relegated a little bit. But because of injuries, they continue to play. And I feel comfortable with Strnad out there. I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world, but I think one of the strengths of this Broncos team is when they are fully healthy, their defense is able to be more aggressive. And to me, the more opportunity you give a team to attack Riley Moss, the worse it's going to be for you.
Yeah, and Riley Moss had a very tough game against Jacksonville. The stats were alarming, and there's different metrics. There's Pro Football Focus. There's other ones, but the reality is he gave up double-digit catches for well over 100 yards and also missed a couple of tackles. Riley Moss was not good in that game, but Strnad and Reed practicing today while Greenlaw doesn't. And then the Wattenberg, I want your thoughts on that. You know, center is the least talked about position on an offensive line, but I do think from A continuity standpoint, and then B, it is someone else snapping the ball to Bo Nix. Again, maybe Wattenberg gets out there tomorrow. We're not sure, but it's something to keep an eye on. And could Alex Forsyth get back on the field, for example? We remember what happened with Forsyth and Arrowhead last year. Not the prettiest of sights when he didn't, quote, die quickly enough on the field goal attempt that got blocked at the buzzer. It may be just one game, but Wattenberg, not necessarily a household name, but definitely something to keep an eye on if someone different has to snap the football to Bo Nix.
You could make the case that the strongest position group of this team is Bowles, Powers, Wattenberg, Miners, and McGlinchey together, and there's a reason why two of those guys are going to the Pro Bowl. You could even make a case that McGlinchey should have been there as well as the third guy, speaking of guys that could have been in the Pro Bowl. You know, Alex Palwecki did a really... Palczewski, sorry.
Palcho.
Did a very good job sliding in for Powers this year. And you kind of wonder which Alex will, you know, maybe have to be forced up. You know, do you move guys around? Do you move Powers to center? I don't know what you do, because I don't have the biggest trust in the world in Forsyth after what happened last year in Arrowhead. I'm just hoping, as the Avs would say, this is a maintenance day for Wattenberg and nothing more, which this is the only day the Broncos are practicing this week. So that's very possible. It's plausible that, you know, a guy would take this day off as a maintenance day between two football games.
All right, real quick trivia. Dante, you can get in on it as well. Who is the Chiefs' projected starting quarterback on Sunday? Just if you guys know the name. Do you know the name?
I looked it up
I got
because
it.
you said it was a no name, and I was like, no, I know the name. So I looked it up like 20 minutes ago.
Who is it?
Oladukin, right?
No, Shane Buechele.
No, I think they're going to start Chris Oladukin.
Oh,
they
gotcha.
claim
Okay.
Buechele off the Bills practice squad to, I think, become their backup. But I think Chris Oladukin will start.
Well, either way, you threw some disrespect on Shane Buechele's name. That's an SMU legend right there.
Okay, well, you get a half a point because I think you got the starter wrong, and you get a full point for Chris Oladukin. Again, not what any of us had circled for the Christmas night game.
You know what's
in Arrowhead.
so weird about this, Will? You could make the case that no position in sports over the last 10 years for a single team has been more secure than quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. With Patrick Mahomes, and you could even go back to Alex Smith right before. And the 1 week that it's an absolute chaos for the first time in 10 years is when you're playing them.
Yeah, with Gardner Minshew going down in Tennessee, a huge break for the Broncos. There's no doubt about it. We'll dive into that more as the show goes on. But guess what? They can clinch the number 1 seed as soon as this weekend. We'll tell you how. They need a lot of help. That's coming up next.
Did Nikola Jokic just set an NBA record that will never be broken?
That is a record that he is going to put away, retire it, lock it away, stoke. It's never going to be beaten. I am confident in saying that Nikola Jokic is going to put the all-time assist record by a center in a place where it will never be touched ever again.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here on behalf of the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, talking to you men out there. Hey, how you feeling around this holiday season? Are you feeling jolly? You have that pep in your step? Or are you feeling sluggish? You have low energy. Maybe your sleep patterns are off. You're not making it to the gym like you used to. And you're dealing with brain fog. You feel like falling asleep after dinner. All right, guys, believe it or not, these could all be tied back to symptoms of low testosterone, which happens to us men as we age. You didn't do anything wrong, but I encourage you, go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com, take the low T quiz on their website. It's a simple 10-question quiz with yes or no answers. Takes 2 minutes or less. But from there, you can schedule a consult with Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. They'll draw your blood. They'll have the results within 30 minutes. A Colorado licensed medical provider will review those results with you, discuss your options, and you'll make a decision together with their medical team. Cost of the appointment is only $99. That includes a medical consult, a T and PSA test, and if you sign up for testosterone treatment the day of that appointment, your visit is free. Fellas, go take that low T quiz at RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
What a wonderful time for family and friends, reflection, and planning forward. It's holiday time. Hi, Dan Cicchini, Done Right Home Improvements. Thinking of putting off that home makeover till after the holidays? Well, good, because opportunity is knocking. We'll help you plan forward with 16% holiday savings on your project or a great financing special to book now for installation after the festivities. Now is the time to get started. Todd?
You bet. First-class kitchen updates with our own custom-built cabinets or Done Right's unique cabinet refacing, elegant bathrooms, top-notch basement finishing, and the finest in replacement windows and doors. Our family's been serving Colorado for decades, and we'd love to serve you too. Call and book your project now to secure your 16% savings or a great financing special.
Thanks, Todd. Kitchens, baths, counters, and floors. Finished basements, windows, and doors. You have our word, we'll treat you right at Done Right. 303-722-2295 or drhi.com.
So Pure Talk just had their best year ever and asked me if I'd like to thank their customers on their behalf for being so awesome. I said sure. It's important to say thanks, especially this time of year, which is why, as one of their many satisfied customers, I should probably thank Pure Talk first for keeping their customer service in this country and for providing hundreds of American jobs. I appreciate that. I also appreciate their Roundup program, which makes it easy to support America's Warrior Partnership and join the fight against veteran suicide. And I love that Pure Talk donated 1,000 hand-sewn Made in America flags to veterans around Independence Day. And of course, I really appreciate their generous support of my own foundation, MicroWorks, and their commitment to help us train the next generation of skilled workers. Having said all that, it's now my pleasure, on behalf of everyone at Pure Talk, to thank you sincerely for choosing to do business with an American wireless company that actually stands for something. And one more thing. Merry Christmas.
How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I could achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You will feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there is no one I trust more in hair restoration. Their simple FUE treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and your new hair is backed by the Advanced Hair Guarantee. I know from personal experience, Advanced Hair's exceptional standard of care makes your comfort and your results their top priority. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR. Discover what meeting your resolution could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
This season, everyone's talking about what they deliver. Packages, presents, good cheer. At Postman Law, we deliver something bigger. Over $3 billion in verdicts and settlements for clients. A team that's won before the Supreme Court, and results that change what's possible for families after an accident. We'll let Santa deliver the gifts. Postman Law delivers the results you deserve. Call 844-POSTMAN or visit postmanlaw.com.
Attorney advertising.
It's the end of the year, and the holidays are finally here. It's tax break time at O'Mara GMC, and your new Sierra 2500 could qualify you for a major tax deduction.
Drive the truck you need and potentially write off a big portion of it at tax time.
Sierra 2500, just $685 a month. But don't wait. The tax deduction window is closing fast.
It's O'Mara GMC's holiday tax break. Ask for stock SF323923. Stop by O'Mara GMC on 104th or OmaraGMC.com.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. Leading off with the big story of the day, here's The Drive with Zach By and Denver, Colorado's own Phillip Lindsay.
All right, 1 hour in the books. It's Will Peterson hanging out with Jake Shapiro. We are in for Zach By and Phillip Lindsay today on The Drive. Great first hour flew by, and we've got more to digest. Plenty more that's going on down there at Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit. They're trotting everyone to the podium today. This is the only day they meet with the media before Thursday night in Arrowhead. And Thursday night in Arrowhead, Jake, could be a springboard to the Broncos clinching the number 1 seed. Yes, there is a scenario they need a ton of help, but the 1 seed could be wrapped up by Sunday Night Football. I'm not counting on it, but we'll go through it here in a minute or so. But I guess quickly, how much were you upset they lost to the Jaguars, but also the caveat of they still control their own destiny? You win the next 2 games, you are the number 1 seed in the AFC. Are you going glass half full or glass half empty on that?
For me, I was upset that they lost because I wanted that Chargers game to not matter. And I remember last year covering that Broncos-Chiefs game when the Chiefs have already wrapped it up and the Chiefs trotted out nobody, and it was a bloodbath for the Broncos beating the Chiefs. But having that extra rest and having the 1 seed locked up so early, the Broncos would have had 2 chances to rest their players 2 weeks in a row. And in a situation where you're already without Brandon Jones probably till the conference championship game, and you're starting to take some significant injury hits, and you're playing on a short week this week, having those 2 weeks and actually an extra half week there because of a Thursday night game would have been so beneficial to this team going into the divisional round, I thought. Now you're still going to get hopefully 1 week here. And, the worst-case scenario, Will, is still on the table, though. That Chargers game matters. They lose the AFC West. They get no rest, and they're playing on Wild Card Weekend. So it went from you might get 2.5 weeks rest to you might be going in from a tough divisional battle after a short week, and all of a sudden it's, we're going to Pittsburgh for a playoff game.
Yeah, and we'll dive into how disappointing getting a wild card would be. That was my column this morning at DenverSports.com, because I'm with you. Things can change in a hurry, but to keep it glass half full, Christmas is in a couple days here. People are in a good mood driving around. Let's bring you this scenario that the Broncos, in theory, can clinch the number 1 seed. Again, they'll need a lot of help to get it done. First, the Broncos must beat the banged-up Kansas City Chiefs on Christmas night. That is a given. Denver is an overwhelming favorite, and if they take care of business, then there will be a plethora of scoreboard watching.
Biggest favorite on the entire week in the NFL.
Is Broncos and Chiefs?
Yep.
It's hovered 12, 12.5, 13 points. I mean, basically Denver's going to have to win by 2 touchdowns to cover. All right, let's go through this. So, Broncos win. The next thing they'll need, and it's a massive game, and it's a Saturday game, so you won't have this lost in the full slate on Sunday. It's a standalone game, and it's the Chargers and the Texans. And to be the 1 seed, Denver needs the Chargers to lose or tie the Texans. That's just part of this puzzle. But it's actually the most important result, because if that happened and the Broncos beat KC, Broncos are AFC West champions for the first time since 2015. So we'll get to the rest of the scenarios for the 1 seed, but most importantly, you want the Broncos to win, you want the Texans to win. Because if that happens, you are division champions. What are your initial impressions on Chargers-Texans? This is going to be a huge game for us to scoreboard watch on Saturday afternoon.
I think the Texans, as of today, are the second best team in the AFC. They're playing like it right now.
Behind who?
Behind Buffalo.
Okay, so that's interesting, because I tend to agree with you, but after what Jacksonville did last week, I would put Jacksonville ahead of Houston in my power rankings.
And I got Jacksonville right behind, but I just go with the Houston defense because we've seen the Houston defense for longer, and now they're really peaking, whereas this Jacksonville offense, which is awesome and peaking right now, there's no doubt about it, but there's less runway on it. We haven't seen this Jacksonville offense play like this all season. It's been more of a recent thing since they got Jacoby Myers. So this Texans defense, we know that this is something that they're capable of. I also think Stroud has turned a corner. There was a part of the season where Stroud looked completely lost, didn't look like he had that juice anymore that he had his rookie season. Now Stroud looks like a guy that's just going to ride this defense, make the right throws, maybe make a big throw or two, and all of a sudden, bang, bang, boom, the Texans are cruising. So I would not be surprised at all, especially with Perriman out for the Chargers due to a suspension, if the Texans go into Los Angeles and beat the Chargers, who are favorites in this ball game. I actually like the Texans to do that as the underdog, but that being said, a lot of people like the way the Chargers have been playing lately.
Yeah, it would be huge. And, you can't count on help. I hate when people say, oh, well, maybe we'll get some help, because I think counting on help in pro sports is a mistake. But you laid out a good case there that this game does, to me, feel like a coin flip. And coin flip, I'll take my odds on a coin toss because there are other games the Broncos need to get the 1 seed, at least this weekend. Again, they control their own destiny if you're just tuning in, but we're talking about this weekend. The reality is, if the Chargers beat the Texans, guys, and I want to make sure everyone knows this because I don't think it's been made clear well enough. If the Chargers beat the Texans, no matter what happens in Arrowhead, the game on January 3rd or 4th is for the AFC West title. Think about that for a second. That's a scary sentence. That'll make your stomach churn a little bit. That even if you take care of Kansas City, if LA beats Houston, they will be 1 game behind you. And because they beat you back in week 3, if they beat you again in Week 18, they'll be 2-0. You'll finish with the same record. They'll win the head-to-head tiebreaker. I mean, think about how much is on the line this Chargers and Texans game that the Broncos can't control. That if LA wins on Saturday, they're flying to Denver no matter what happens on Christmas with a shot to steal the division.
Yeah, that would be the biggest regular season Broncos game in, since 2014, 2013 maybe? And, Will, we talked about the Chiefs' run, and the Broncos have a chance to bookend the Chiefs' run because they were the last AFC West Division champions. Do you know the last AFC West Division champions that weren't the Broncos or Chiefs and what year that was?
Oh, that's a good trivia question, man, because they obviously won it so many times with Peyton Manning. They won it with Tim Tebow in that wild and crazy year. That's why they got to host the Steelers here. So we're going back to at least 2010, if not 2009. Dante Gomez is jumping out of his chair. What do you got for us, Dante?
Oh, I was already wrong. I was going to guess Derek Carr and the Raiders.
No, they never won it. They never won it because it's been Broncos and Chiefs for the last 15-ish years. Jake, do you have the answer for us, or are you just thinking out loud?
The 2009 San Diego Chargers were the last AFC West Division champions, not Broncos or Chiefs. The Raiders' last win came in 2002. So it's been quite a while since the Chargers have won the division. They won 3 in a row or 4 in a row all the way back then with those good Phillip Rivers teams, who is all of a sudden still playing in the NFL.
Playing.
But yeah, Will, that regular season game in Week 18 could mean so much. And you're right, not enough has been made about that and what that could mean for the Broncos. And really, it went from, this Jacksonville game is huge and it can mean this, that, and the other. The Broncos can get this rest and yada, 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 to Week 18 is going to determine not only if they win the West this year, but likely how easy is their road to get to the Super Bowl.
Yep, unless the Texans do you a big favor. And that could blow Week 18 out, right? Like, that's, again, it's not a Broncos game on Saturday, but Broncos country will be locked in. You're massive, massive Houston Texans fans. All right, other things the Broncos need to get the 1 seed this weekend. Again, they can win 2 in a row and be the 1 seed no matter what. But to get it this weekend, they need to win. They need the Chargers to lose or tie the Texans. Then they need the Patriots to lose to the Jets, the Bills to lose or tie with the Eagles, and the Jaguars to lose or tie against the Colts. All right, let's go through this. The Bills to lose or tie to the Eagles, yeah, sure, that could happen. The Eagles won the Super Bowl last year. The Jaguars to lose or tie against the Colts, not counting on it, but that said, old man Phillip Rivers did look pretty good last night. And yes, Indy's defense was trash, but they were very good the week before against Seattle. Neither of those things are hard. You don't have to twist your brain into a pretzel to make them happen. That doesn't mean they're likely, but it wouldn't knock you off your feet if you heard that happen. What would knock you off your feet if you heard that happen is the Patriots losing to the Jets. That's the one in all these things. Again, they need 5 things to go their way to get the 1 seed. The clinching scenarios all debuted this morning. That's the one. You need the 3-12 Jets to beat the 12-3 Patriots. That ain't going to happen, my friend.
Talking about the biggest spreads on the weekend, the only other double-digit spread is this game in favor of New England. Talking about streaks and the Broncos' awesome win streak, Will, the Jets haven't won a game since before Halloween. I don't think it's changing this week against who is also competing for that 1 seed and desperately needs to win this weekend to have a chance in Week 18 to get that 1 seed, the New England Patriots. My socks would be fully blown off if the New England Patriots lost that game. So the Broncos should probably be playing for something in Week 18. Hopefully, it's just the 1 seed and not the AFC West.
Right, and that would be if the Texans beat the Chargers on Saturday.
But it's most likely going to maybe be both.
Which is crazy because that's a good segue into what I wrote about this morning, that the Broncos falling to a wild card would leave a sour taste on a great season. I mean, Jake, they need to finish the job. They've had too much go well this season not to. And that task is winning the last couple of games and taking the AFC West and earning that 1 seed to ensure that the road to the Super Bowl goes through Empower Field at Mile High. That's their best chance of reaching Santa Clara. A wild card, in my eyes, simply isn't going to cut it. I mean, look, winning 2 home games to go to a Super Bowl, people always ask me, why do the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl every year? Because they've, in general, and I know they had the 1 year they went on the road, but in general, they just had to win 2 games at Arrowhead. The NFL, like no other league, stacks the deck in favor of the number 1 seed. A, you get a week off while everyone beats everyone up. And B, you don't have to get on an airplane. Every game is in your backyard. I'll be honest, man. If they have to win 3 road games to go to the Super Bowl, their chances of being in Santa Clara, in my eyes, 5%, 4%. I mean, they're very slim. We've seen that happen in NFL history, but it's been few and far between. I know Aaron Rodgers did it once with the Packers. I know Eli Manning did it once with the Giants. It doesn't happen often. If they have to win 2 home games, I think it's 50-50, 60-40. I mean, I think fans should honestly, if you have the means and you want to go, I think they should start looking at flights. That's where I land on why this is so critical and why I argue that being a wild card, despite how fun this season has been, would be a bitter, bitter disappointment because the difference between 3 road games to go to the Super Bowl and 2 home games is night and day.
Broncos right now have the best odds in the AFC, ever so slightly over the New England Patriots to go to the Super Bowl at plus 370. That's an implied proposition of about 21%, Will. You put it at 5% if they have to go win 3 road games. I'm telling you, it's like 1%. Like
it's very low.
It's not happening. So that 21% chance of making the Super Bowl, to me, 15 of that percent is the Broncos get the 1 seed. The other 5% of it is the Broncos win the AFC West and they're playing, 2 home games, and then maybe something breaks right and they're playing a 3rd home game
as the wild card, or if they have to go to Foxborough, if they're somehow the 2 seed and they win 2 home games, and then the AFC title game would be in Foxborough, something like that.
Yeah, I would say it's something like, you get the 2 seed, you win the West, the Patriots sneak by you somehow, and you end up in a situation where you're playing the Texans in the AFC Championship game in Denver or something like that. That would be the scenario in which the Broncos get to the Super Bowl, in my opinion, where they don't get the 1 seed. But almost every path to Santa Clara, to me, means you got the 1 seed.
What do you think of my logic that a wild card simply isn't going to cut it? Not after the Broncos won 11 games in a row in the middle of this magical year. They had those heartbreaking losses to the Colts and Chargers in weeks 2 and 3 that they used as fuel to go on this amazing streak. Sure, this loss this last Sunday was disappointing and exposed some holes, but why stop now after everything they've accomplished? Do you agree with me that when it's all said and done and Zach and Phil are in here on January 5th, if they're talking about a wild card, that's a disappointment given how well this year has gone?
What were Sean Payton's 3 goals?
Win the division, best seed possible, get and win the Super Bowl.
So you're already failing on 2 of the 3 goals.
If you fell to a wild card.
Yeah. So I think it's a massive bummer and it's a massive fail by not only the Broncos, but their coaching staff, everyone involved in that building. If they have it within their chance, basically we're looking at it. If the Broncos don't win the AFC West, it's because they lost a home game to Jacksonville, lost to the Chiefs with a 3rd-string quarterback, or lost to the Los Angeles Chargers on your home turf. So that requires you losing either 2 games at home or losing to the Chiefs with a 3rd-string quarterback as a second loss. That would be a disaster, Will. And then you're going to the playoffs with that momentum, going 1-2 in your final 3 weeks. That ain't going to cut it.
So do you think it would be more about the Broncos fell short or the Chargers went on a nice winning streak at the very end, or because they play each other in Week 18, to quote Zach, 2 things can be true at the same time?
No, the ball's been in the Broncos' court for a couple weeks now. So if you fall short, that's on you. Yeah, the Chargers are on a nice little streak here, but all you got to do is get to 14 wins. You got to get to 14 wins. And it's been possible for the Broncos to get to 14 wins for a while. And I know that sounds like a lot. But think about that
sentence. All you got to do is get to 14. Like, if I had told you that in July, you'd have been like, dude, what are you smoking and drinking?
No way. I would tell you no way.
Yeah.
But the way this all lined up for the Broncos, especially down the stretch here, it's ludicrous to believe that they wouldn't get the 1 seed if you asked me after that Green Bay game.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and that's why I wrote the column, is that you've come too far. Very rarely in NFL history, maybe never, does a team have an 11-game win streak and end up as a wild card.
And it's nice for us to go, the window for the championship and the Super Bowl is next year. Bo will have more playoff experience. The defense will be more together, yada, yada, yada. We don't know when windows are in sports. The thing opened wide for the Broncos this year. Everything broke right. You got to make the best of this situation. And if the Broncos fall short, I think it'll be just about as devastating, in my opinion, as 96. I really do. And then guess what? There's also a loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars in that one.
Yeah, but the difference, I would say, is that Bo is in his 2nd year. That was when people didn't know if John Elway would ever win a Super Bowl when he lost to the Jaguars in 96.
And I get it. Like, I get, the differences and where the Broncos were at that point and the ascension they're still on. But I still come back to, the 24 Nuggets playoffs, and I go, at the time that loss to Minnesota, in terms of a Game 7 loss where you blow a 20-point lead on your home court, it didn't really hurt that much because you just won the title. But the more we grow away from it, the more it's like, well, was that the Nuggets' only other chance that they're ever going to have to win a title? And I'm not saying that the Broncos won't have another chance with Bo Nix, but I'm saying the chance is there right now.
Yeah, these moments.
Yeah, and it's not guaranteed for next year. We have no idea what's going to happen next year. I mean, holy heck, look at the Chiefs. Look what's happened to them. They've completely fallen apart this year. That could be you next year. You have no idea what's going to happen to you next year.
All right, the 9198 on the RamosLaw.com text line. This is Brian from Evans, Colorado. Says the Chargers would not be stealing the division. They'd be taking it by force. I've been telling friends since Thanksgiving that the AFC West will come down to that last game. In no way, shape, or form are the Broncos in charge. They've been winning, but barely, not dominant. Listen, Brian, I think you're onto something in the sense that people dismiss the Chargers way too early. I think when the Chiefs fell apart and Chiefs were officially eliminated, there was some preemptive celebration here. Oh my gosh, the Chiefs are dead. The Broncos won the division, this and that. And I'm with you. I've been trying to warn people for a couple of weeks of none of this is set in stone because you're not getting help. And what happened on Monday Night Football? The Eagles had so many chances to do the Broncos a huge favor, and Jalen Hurts just was awful and pooed the bed, and the Broncos didn't get any help. The Eagles lost in overtime. Then this past week, Dallas comes out in that first half like, oh, maybe they're going to give them a game. And then guess what? In the second half, Dallas remembered, we got nothing to play for, and they were 1-2-3 Cancun, and the Chargers pulled away. That said, what do you think of this notion that the Chargers would be stealing the division versus the Broncos collapsing? Because to me, they'd both be kind of true. And people are going to say that's a cop-out. But yes, you laid it out well. It would mean probably 2 home losses in the last 3 games for the Broncos to lose the division. But also, I can't sit here and sell the Chargers short with how many injuries they've had, the fact that they're still in this conversation.
If the Chargers win the AFC West, it means they will have gone 6-0 against the division this year. And the Broncos will have lost at least 2 games against the division. That's it right there. So I'm on the collapse. I'm totally on the collapse. And I don't think it's been stolen by the Chargers. But I would say if you go 6-0 against your division that year, you've earned it.
And especially because the Broncos could have won that game in SoFi. We all picture Bo Nix throwing the deep ball to Cortland Sutton down the left sideline that missed his hand by literally inches, and then the Chargers kicked the walk-off field goal. It does make the end of the regular season more exciting. I guess you can say that. But Denver fans probably would have been fine coasting to the finish line because that can no longer happen in a wildly competitive division and conference. And I think to the players, find a way to prevail the next 2 games, wrap this thing up, and join us all on the couch with a bye during the first week of the playoffs. It would be fascinating to watch the rest of the AFC beat each other up while Denver's at home. But this now, we had talked about, do you rest your starters in Week 18? Do you not? That's all out the window. You said it. Week 18's going to matter, and that's what happens when you lose to Jacksonville, is that all of a sudden now these next 12 days just got a lot more interesting.
Yeah, and it's fun for the next 12 days for us, maybe a lot more stressful. I'm always the type of sports fan that's like, I'd love to go to great games. I love it when my team hits a last-second shot or scores a last-second goal. I'd rather go to the Avs game and see them beat the Jets 7-1.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want it to be over in the second period, go get another pop, enjoy it, So I thought this was going to be so great for the Broncos, where it's like, we're tuning in December 21st, and then we're tuning out until January 15th. Like, it would have been great to do that. And then the Broncos don't have to travel for the entire month of January. You could have even gotten in a situation, where the Broncos said, okay, we're going to punt on this Chiefs game and only care about the Chargers game. We're going to take that week off because it's a short week and guys get hurt on Thursday. It was all there for them to just work their way into the playoffs, ease their way into the playoffs. But now they really have to fight for it. And, nothing's easy in the NFL, so it's not surprising that this is the scenario they find themselves in. But if you want to win a Super Bowl, you're going to have to beat the best teams eventually. And it's lining up like the Broncos, unfortunately, are going to have to beat the best teams. You were in a situation where you might have been able to avoid it. You would have gotten some rest. But if you win a Super Bowl this year, in a year where the AFC's completely fallen apart, and Josh Allen's sitting there and you take it from Josh Allen in the year Josh Allen seems like he's supposed to win, I think that says a lot. Also in the year where we're seeing the budding rivalry from like Drake May and Bo Nix building from the same draft class, like that's pretty cool. Like you're getting some really cool storylines that you can go back on if you eventually win the Super Bowl. But gosh, is this path a lot harder than it needed to be.
Yeah, and the 2019 chimes in and says, how big of a leverage penalty would it be if we missed the 1 seed by a game when we should have won the Indy game without that bad special teams call? I mean, it's a fair point. It's a fair point, Texter. That win over the Colts would do the Broncos a heck of a lot of good right now, but you could say the same about the Chargers game, and you could say the same about the Jags game. I mean, that's going to happen. You're going to lose in the NFL, but yeah, could it be that Week 2 game in Indy consistently haunts them and how much better shape they would be in without it? I think, too, the other sort of not as much talked about factor in this conversation is, yeah, we know the path to the Super Bowl is a heck of a lot easier if you're the 1 seed versus the 5 seed. Don't get me wrong. But if you're the 5 seed and you have to go to Pittsburgh, I think everyone said, well, Pittsburgh's the weakest team in the AFC, and I would agree with that. But in that building, in January, you don't know what the weather's going to be. And oh, by the way, you're facing a guy who's got a ton of playoff experience in Aaron Rodgers. He may be old. He may not be the same guy he once was. But the Steelers just went into Detroit and beat the Lions this weekend. I don't think it would be a gimme layup that you would beat the Steelers in the wild card round on the road in Pittsburgh. Your season could realistically end on January 10th or 11th if you fall out of the number 1 seed.
Tomlin's won a Super Bowl. Rodgers has won a Super Bowl. I know that team is up and down. But you know what I do know also? Is I saw Bo Nix in his one playoff game he's ever played. In the cold, on the road. And it didn't look good.
Well, it looked good for first 4 minutes. Hit Troy Franklin. We were up 7-0, and then they didn't score the rest of the game.
It's going to be cold, and you're going to be on the road. And it's going to be your second career playoff game against a coach who's won a Super Bowl and a quarterback who's won a Super Bowl. I do not like their odds, even if they are the better team on paper. And even if you win that game, Will, congratulations. You've won yourself a trip to New England or Jacksonville the following week.
And again, that would only be the divisional round, which could be your first game, and it could be in Denver. I said it before, I'll say it again. The NFL does so many favors to the 1 seed. The Broncos got to find a way to grab it. Text line's on fire. We'll hit some of those next. Plus the 3 count coming up. Oh, there's a lot going on in the world of sports, including the NBA. The NBA, the tanking league, trying to stop tanking. We'll give you the details next.
Will the Broncos take care of business in primetime and sweep the Chiefs? We'll break it all down in a special Christmas Day edition of the Fan Football Pregame Show, live on game day starting at 4 p.m. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Progressive has great customer service, and it's easy to reach us because great and easy is the way to be. Like salads. Great for you, and so easy you could put any group of veggies in a bowl and it's a salad. A full carrot with a head of cabbage? Weird, but still a salad. 1 radish and a couple of green beans? Also a salad. 14 blueberries, half an onion, and a sunchoke? Odd, yes, but an odd salad. So contact Progressive's customer service by phone, app, or online. It's great and easy, just like salad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Winter is officially here, Denver, and Hermes Worldwide is your ride to all action. Whether you're bundling up to cheer on the Broncos at Empower Field or heading downtown to catch an Avs or Nuggets game, make sure you get there on time and in style. This holiday season, let Hermes Worldwide handle your Christmas light tours, festive nights out, and stress-free airport transfers. Skip the traffic, snow, and parking hassles. Ride in warm, comfortable luxury with a professional driver who gets you there safely. Book now at 303-577-7600 or visit ridehermes.com/DenverSports.
Men, it's the holidays, a time of love and joy. But if you suffer from erectile dysfunction, the season can be tough on you. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you and your partner are experiencing struggles because of ED, change it up this year. Give the best gift you can give to the one you love by treating your ED and restoring your relationship. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're experts in treating ED, and as a Promedic restorative health practice, we've literally seen countless thousands of relationships renewed across the nation. Plus, with treatments having success rates well over 90%, coupled with many treatment options, we can likely find the right one for you. You may even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us and give your partner the best gift you can give this season, a renewed, restored relationship. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in our office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
Hi, I'm Lexi, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. We'll help you find last-minute gifts that don't look last-minute, even if you're still planning to propose. At Shane Company, we'll show you perfect gifts at perfect prices, in stock and ready to give. Like hand-matched diamond studs, 14-karat gold chains, or the ultimate gift, a beautiful engagement ring. We have longer store hours, so you can skip the crowds and shop when you want, or visit us at shaneco.com. Because a friend wants you to be a holiday hero. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Colorado's largest sportsman's travel event is back. Outfitters, lodges, and destinations. Meet the experts who'll make your trip unforgettable. Sportsman's Expo, January 8th through 11th at the Colorado Convention Center in Denver.
Brandon Stokel here from my friends at Roller Auction. Do you have items you're looking to sell?
since 1976. Roller Auction has been conducting commercial and industrial auctions for Colorado government agencies, Fortune 500 companies, small business owners, secured creditors, individuals, and more. They have a large marketplace to showcase your assets, so don't wait. Visit rollerauction.com for a free consultation and turn those items into some cold, hard cash. Again, go visit them at rollerauction.com. That's rollerauction.com.
Christmas is just around the corner, and if you still have gifts to buy, the best place to do that is Macy's Great Gift Sale. Get amazing deals on last-minute gifts like fine jewelry and fragrance sets, boxed and ready to give. And everything from designer bags to Nespresso coffee makers at 30 to 60% off. Plus, your Macy's is the most festive place this holiday, so come in and find everything left on your list all in one place. The Great Gift Sale ends Wednesday at Macy's. Savings off select prices. Exclusions apply.
A new exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card is your opportunity to go from cardholder to ticket holder for the FIFA World Cup 2026. For a limited time, when you're approved for a new customized cash rewards or unlimited cash rewards Visa credit card, you're eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more today at BofA.com/cardFWC26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America N.A. in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. I think I'm some kind of football prophet.
Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Cake Mortgage Corp. Equal Housing Lender. NMLS number 1734623. Licensed in Colorado by the Division of Real Estate. Terms and conditions apply. What if you could use the equity in your home to get cash fast? With no appraisal, zero hassle, and less waiting with Cake? You can. The Cake Fast Cash program is like turning your home into your ATM. People are using it to pay off high-interest debt, do renovations, tackle student loans, or cut monthly bills by hundreds, even thousands of dollars. The best part? Your current mortgage rate won't change. With Cake, you also get peace of mind. We're AAA rated by the Better Business Bureau and backed by thousands of 5-star reviews. Cake Mortgage. Your fresh-baked Cake Fast Cash loan is ready to enjoy. So don't wait. Call 720-850-0012. That's 720-850-0012. Or visit cakehome.com for thousands of 5-star reviews.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan, powered by Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic.
Want to partake in our contest? Check out the rules at DenverSports.com. Every day at 3:30, the drive comes off the top rope to hit you with a 1, 2, 3.
Finally, The Rock has come back to Denver.
Tape your wrists, stretch your spandex, and oil your hair. Here's Zach and Phil with today's 3 count on the drive.
All right, we are coming off the top rope with it. It's Jake Shapiro, Will Peterson hanging out for Zach Bai and Phillip Lindsay. Hope your last-minute holiday shopping is going well. Let's kick this thing off. 1! All right, the NBA is going to try to combat tanking. Yes, the NBA realizes they have a tanking problem. Not exactly breaking news to anyone. Long article from Shams Charania at ESPN.com, but here are a couple of the key points to me, Jake. They will no longer allow, this is proposed, okay? This is not official. The proposal, no longer allow a team to draft in the top 4 2 years in a row. And 2, lock lottery positions after March 1st so they can't really super tank it the last month and a half of the season to get more ping pong balls. Obviously, this has not been a discussion in Denver for quite some time with Nikola Jokic in town. But do you like the idea that the NBA is acknowledging their tanking problem? We saw a team last night in the Utah Jazz who are frankly not competitive this year.
I hate this. I think it's really stupid the way they're approaching it. I think they realize that there's a problem, but they're approaching it the wrong way. Will, the reason why the Jazz are tanking every year is because the lottery keeps pulling them outside of the top 5. They're one of the 5 worst teams in the league. They tank to be that, and then they can't get a top 5 pick because the lottery is so flat. The NFL, you get the first pick, you're maybe bad for 2 years, and then you ride that wave with those talent, and you got your way back up. Those teams don't really tank. So I do not like the way these lottery odds have flattened. And then you look at the Colorado Rockies. They didn't even try to tank this year, but they can't get a pick within the top 10 because they've hadn't won too many years in a row.
Yeah.
So I don't think either of these solutions works.
All right, but the ideas, and this is according to Shams Charania, would theoretically dissuade non-playoff teams from sitting their starters for games throughout the season and provide reason to continue to try to win said games, particularly down the stretch. I'm actually for it because I think the NBA becomes very unwatchable around spring break time because the best teams are all just gearing up for the playoffs and the worst teams are trying to get more ping pong balls. I think what they're concerned about is the 82 games will be more meaningful if they put in some tanking protections. Again, we're fortunate as Nuggets fans. We haven't had to deal with this conversation for a decade. But you know when we did deal with it? The early 2000s. When the Nuggets were really bad and the prizes in the draft lottery were LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony, Darko Milicic. So that didn't work out, and Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. Nuggets got the number 3 pick that year. They were one ping pong ball bounce away from landing LeBron James. So that said, I applaud the league for trying to realize how the product can suck less in March and April.
Yeah, and I get that, but teams that want to tank then are just going to tank early on in the season and then try harder later, which I guess has some benefit to the NBA because no one's watching during football season, whereas people are watching in March and April. But I do think they just need to reapproach this entire tanking / lottery proposition from the studs up.
All right, sounds good.
1, 2.
New stadium is coming to Denver. That got approved last night. No, it's not the Broncos, but it will be the home of the new NWSL team. Jake, give us the details, my friend.
Broadway and 25. This is a 14-acre plot of land. It should be about a 14,000-seat stadium. Last night, Denver City Council approved $50 million in funding from the city to buy the property that this stadium will sit on. The rest of the funding now is going to come from ownership to actually build the stadium. But basically, Mayor Mike Johnston wanted the city to own this land, to be an invested partner in this project. This bill that got passed, or this proposition that got approved by City Council last night, had been fought about for the last couple months now, with City Council people trying to wonder where this funding was coming from and why it was being done this way. Ultimately, it results in the city getting, hopefully, a beautiful, awesome, women's-specific stadium on Broadway and 25, a great prime location that should bring all of us together and host some great events, not just soccer.
And do you think that the Rapids could look to move to a more centralized location? I mean, if you're going to put all this money into a new stadium, and it's worthy, don't get me wrong, it's very worthy. I know Zach and Phil talk about this new team a lot, and they're going to take their kids there. I think the crowds are going to be sold out, but could it make sense to use this thing for more than just the Summit?
The Summit are going to put the Rapids to shame very quickly and take a large part of their audience. As a former soccer beat writer myself, the Summit are just going to capture the city's heart, especially the families like Zach and Phil's. I'm certainly going to go to more Summits games than Rapids games until the Rapids do move to a more centralized location. That will not be at this stadium because the Rapids and Summit will be fighting for the same fan base. They are competitors. But the Rapids, I do believe, and from what I've heard in my sources, the Rapids are looking at a more centralized stadium location in Denver. There is one big plot of land that should be vacated soon. A big hint from me.
All righty.
1, 2, 3.
So the big stadium news in the NFL yesterday was that the Chiefs are relocating from Missouri to Kansas. And as a University of Missouri alum, I can promise you a lot of people in Missouri are very ticked off about this. And I understand why. I mean, look at the St. Louis Rams. They left the state of Missouri and went to L.A. A handful of years ago. And now the Chiefs are leaving the state of Missouri to go to Kansas. This is the kicker to me. The public funding for the Chiefs' new stadium is $2.1 billion. The public funding for the Broncos' new stadium, that is almost assuredly going to happen in 2031, is $0. Not only are they taking the team away from Arrowhead Stadium, which even as a Broncos fan I can acknowledge is an iconic venue, they're moving them across state lines to Kansas, and they're hitting up the taxpayers for dough. Broncos ownership comes out looking really good in this, and a lot of people really mad at the Chiefs ownership for the news that broke yesterday.
Not to poo-poo it, but I just want people to have the proper information. There's not going to be no public money given towards the Broncos stadium and location area, there will be some public money going to improvement projects in the area, and a TIF, which is a whole tax thing that happens to the land assessment. There will be some public money involved at the Broncos stadium. The stadium itself is going to be built by the Broncos for billions of dollars, and we applaud the way the Broncos ownership has taken that on and what they want to do for the city. This is a win-win in Denver. What's happened in Kansas City to maybe the premier NFL franchise right now, it absolutely stinks for the people in Missouri. It absolutely stinks for the people in Kansas that are going to lose billions of dollars that could go to schools or to other housing projects that are desperately probably needed, and instead are going to a football team and an ownership group that definitely can afford it. It stinks, man. Even though it's happening to your rivals, I wouldn't wish this on the people of Kansas and Missouri. It just stinks.
Yeah, and they clearly chased the money because Missouri just couldn't come up with a plan. And I saw Clark Hunt yesterday say, hey, we were dealing with the governor's office. We were dealing with the city of Kansas City, council members, all this and that. We approached Kansas, and they said, hey, we're one unified front. Come here. And you're right. The people of Kansas are looking at this as going, wow, we just got our first pro sports team, and it happens to be the team that's been atop the NFL the last 10 years. Oh, by the way, we're going to need $2.1 billion from you people to fund this thing. But governors, all those people, guess what they are? They're politicians. They like things on their resumes, and the resume for them is we got the Chiefs to move across state lines. And I see this from a lot of people. Oh, they're only moving 20 or 30 minutes. Who cares? Who cares? It's not the same as the Rams moving across the country to L.A. I know enough Chiefs fans that care. It's like when the Warriors left Oakland and went to San Francisco. These kind of moves, even if they're small geographically, they seismically shift the feeling of fan bases, and I'm with you. I don't root for the Chiefs on the field. Absolutely not. I despise that football team. But I do have friends that are fans of the Chiefs, and they got a raw deal yesterday. And even as Broncos fans, we can acknowledge that.
And it would have been a similar raw deal had the Broncos maybe moved to Castle Rock or Aurora. And that's another thing we have to be thankful for with this ownership group. The Broncos will stay playing where they've basically played their entire existence, downtown Denver. And it's not going to shift anything. And the people that work at the stadium and all that, nothing in their lives is going to change. A significant portion of the game day people and the people that work around the team, it's going to be a lot harder for them because now they got to go to Kansas instead of Missouri. It's the other side of town. It really does matter to a lot of people there.
Yep, and the tax dollars and all that will be generated in Kansas, especially if they're building entertainment districts and whatnot. Those will be spent in Kansas and not in Missouri. The Chiefs moving across state lines. And you're right, the Broncos will remain the Denver Broncos with this plan to build at Burnham Yard. All right, there's a big game at Ball Arena tonight, a big game before a holiday break. We'll dive into a little Avalanche next.
Denver is headed to Arrowhead for a Christmas showdown with Kansas City. Get yourself ready for kickoff with Denver Game Day, powered by Common Spirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos. Live on Game Day starting at 2 p.m. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity. What if more reliable didn't mean more expensive? With Xfinity, you can get reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi for less. We're talking intelligent gig-speed Wi-Fi for $50 a month. This holiday season through January 4th, Xfinity is offering their best price on gig-speed Wi-Fi, guaranteed for 5 years. No contracts, no strings attached. You could save $3,000 over Verizon and AT&T. Imagine getting super fast Wi-Fi at the same price for 5 years. Get everything you need from Xfinity, their best Wi-Fi equipment, and even unlimited data, all included at their best price. Get ready to be wowed by your Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto-paid with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary. Savings based on promo and post-promo prices for 1 gig internet, 1 unlimited line, and Peacock Premium versus Verizon 1 gig internet and AT&T 1000 internet and 1 unlimited starter SL line.
So Pure Talk just had their best year ever and asked me if I'd like to thank their customers on their behalf for being so awesome. I said sure. It's important to say thanks, especially this time of year, which is why, as one of their many satisfied customers, I should probably thank Pure Talk first for keeping their customer service in this country and for providing hundreds of American jobs. I appreciate that. I also appreciate their Roundup program, which makes it easy to support America's Warrior Partnership and join the fight against veteran suicide. And I love that Pure Talk donated 1,000 hand-sewn Made in America flags to veterans around Independence Day. And of course, I really appreciate their generous support of my own foundation, MicroWorks, and their commitment to help us train the next generation of skilled workers. Having said all that, it's now my pleasure, on behalf of everyone at Pure Talk, to thank you sincerely for choosing to do business with an American wireless company that actually stands for something. And one more thing. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays from Done Right Home Improvements. Putting off that home makeover till after the holidays? Well, good, because book your project now for install after and save 16% or get a great financing deal. drhi.com.
Hey Broncos country, it's Terrell Davis here. You know, in the game of life, our most valuable asset is our health.
At Fitness Gallery, we have deals everywhere, up to 50% off. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins. We have you covered.
After a car accident, you might wonder, do I really need a lawyer? But at Postman Law, we go beyond the courtroom. We're your single point of contact for insurance, medical bills, and doctors. Get the outcome you deserve without the headache.
Call 844-POSTMAN, attorney advertising. The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3, The Fan.
Hey, the cold weather is here. Stoke here from my friends at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Has another company told you that you need a new furnace? Time to throw in the challenge flag. Rocks Heating and Air offers no obligation, free second opinions. And don't forget about heat pump rebates. They've never been better. Up to $13,500 only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that Jeep.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. I think I'm some kind of football prophet.
Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey guys, boy Stink here today about my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if he can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house, all cash, and he can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-944-33, 720-944-33. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. Want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan brought to you by the National Western Stock Show, January 10th through the 25th. Tickets at nationalwestern.com.
Stay up to date on the Broncos and the latest news from around the league with our NFL insider James Palmer, exclusively on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Mondays on The Rundown with Richie Carney, Tuesday afternoons on The Drive, and Friday mornings on Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, all season long. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
All right, fun game at Ball Arena tonight. Avalanche and Mammoth dropping the puck here in a little more than 3 hours. It's Will Peterson in for Zach By, hanging out with my guy Jake Shapiro for Phillip Lindsay today. The Avs are red hot, fellas. They are just on fire, and they sort of reminded Minnesota on Sunday. I know everyone was ticked off about the Broncos, but if you eventually flipped over to the Avs after the Broncos ended, you were in for a treat. They took down the Wild 5-1. I thought Cale Makar severely outplayed Quinn Hughes. Fun trade for the Wild, and Hughes is great. I'm not going to slander Hughes, but Cale's still the best defenseman on earth. Nathan McKinnon gets 2 more goals as well, gets to 30 on the season. The Avalanche, think about this for a second, Jake. The Avalanche are playing 2 days before Christmas and still have 2 regulation losses Never going to get old watching a good winning hockey team, but they really are just ridiculous in the fact that every single time they take the ice, the expectation is a win. And honestly, unless the game goes to a shootout where they struggle, they deliver almost every single time as well.
Yeah, there's only 3 teams in the NHL with single-digit regulation losses. One of them's Dallas with 7. The other one is Vegas with 8. We're talking about a difference of 5 to your second best team there. And Will, I've just, he's won an MVP. We know he's fantastic, and I cover Nikola Jokic on a daily basis, and I talk about this a lot just because I can't get enough of watching Nikola Jokic play. I feel the exact same about Nathan MacKinnon. And right now, the pace he's on, 61 points in 35 games, 30 goals. You know how many guys in NHL history have scored a goal per game, and he's right below that? It's Wayne Gretzky with 92 and 87 twice. He did that.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Hull, 86. Mario Lemieux, 85. And then it's Phil Esposito with 76. We're talking about MacKinnon has a chance, if the Avs keep this pace up and he keeps this pace up, for the 5th highest goal-scoring season in NHL history behind Gretzky, Hull, and Lemieux.
Wow. It's good company to keep. That's some goats. For sure. And yeah, he's leading the league in goals by a healthy margin. He's somehow trailing Connor McDavid in points, but Nathan MacKinnon is on an absolute tear. I thought it was great, those 2 goals he scored against the Wild. I think the Avalanche took this game very seriously. Let's bring in our guy, Drew Spivak, on this as well. I do the Mile High Hockey podcast with him. Drew, it felt like the Avalanche were reminding the Wild that you guys are really good and you're up and coming, but it's still our division, and frankly, it's still our league right now. We're a wagon. You guys are a fun team. You're a good story, but the gap between us is still more than even the Wild fans are maybe willing to admit.
Yeah, and kind of a contrast from the first time these two teams met a couple weeks ago when, the Wild goaltender Jesper Wallstedt kind of said, "Yeah, we're the better team because we won the game. We might be the best team in the league." It's like, no, not quite. You're not there yet. Like what Minnesota's doing is good. Like they're playing really good hockey after a poor start, but they're on a whole different tier compared to where the Avalanche and, frankly, the Dallas Stars are as well. I mean, look at just like regulation wins overall. The Avalanche have 24 wins in regulation. 24 of their 26 wins have come in regulation. Now, the Wild have 22 wins. 16 of them have come in regulation. Like that's a significant type gap. And while I think the Wild are going to have something to say about this division at the end of the day, I still think they are, I don't want to say significantly behind both Colorado and Dallas, but there's like I said, a pretty decently sized gap on there. Minnesota's got to figure out where they're at center-wise, because you look at these other two teams, Colorado and Dallas, they're stacked down the middle. They have 4 centers that can just go out and dominate at any point in time. The Wild don't have that. The Wild have 1 good center in Eriksson Ek, and that's about it. So until they figure that out, they're not going to be on that next tier with Colorado or Dallas. As good as they're playing and stuff like that, but they're not there yet.
So then let me ask both of you this, and Jake, we'll start with you. Was it a statement win over Minnesota? And I know people are going to say, guys, it's late December. Come on, statement wins. What are we talking about? But was not only the fact that Avalanche were victorious, but the manner they did it in convincing 5-1 fashion. Mackenzie Blackwood was great. All the big dogs scored. McKinnon a couple times. Cale Makar found the back of the net as well. Was it a statement win of a reminder that Minnesota is not yet in their class?
I'm kind of with Drew on this, that it's so obvious that the Avs are in their own class and maybe the Stars are there as well, that I don't think any single game can be a statement win unless it's against the Stars. I think, to me, the statement the Avs have made is in their consistency and continuing to just beat teams down no matter who it is, night to night, just continuing to widen the gap on the rest of the NHL.
Yeah, I think you could almost argue that every game that they play is a statement. In considering the fact that they played 35 games and they've won 26 of them, they've had 26 statement wins. Like, they are sending a message to the rest of the NHL that we are better than you and we know it. Not to sound like Lobo Jim here, but that's kind of what they're doing. Yep. And it doesn't matter if they play their A game or if they play their C or D game. They just win. It doesn't matter. You get such great goaltending night in and night out, no matter which guy's in between the pipes. The defense shows up, 99% of the time, and they play a great defensive game. You get balanced scoring every single night. You never know who's going to be the guy on the score sheet. It's just it's incredible to watch what this team just continues to do, and that they're not putting letting their foot off the gas. And I think that they know deep down that they're going to be in a dogfight with Dallas all year for the first spot in that division. So I think I always look at it and say, all right, it actually puts a good amount of pressure on this team to not take nights off and take their feet off the gas, because you want that number one seed. You have to have that number one seed. You don't want to get in a situation like you were in last year, having to go to Dallas for a Game 7. And now it's kind of comforting knowing the fact that, hey, one of Dallas or Minnesota is going home in the first round. So that kind of eliminates one of those two teams right then and there. So just keep your foot on the gas, keep this thing going, and we'll see what they end up doing. Once we get towards the trade deadline, do they need another piece maybe to add to what is already a pretty dominant roster?
Yeah, and to further your Globo Gym analogy, what happens at the end of dodgeball? Globo Gym loses in the final, and then Ben Stiller gains about 200 pounds and blames Chuck Norris. So the Avalanche can't get fat and happy, so to speak, literally fat like Ben Stiller in that movie, because, Jake, the realistic thing is, I'm not going to say fans don't care about the regular season, because fans do. And there's so many good hockey fans in this state. But there's a large segment of the fan base that also says, fine, this is fun, but I care about April, May, and June. I care about whether or not they win the Cup, because they are in that rare position where anything short of a Stanley Cup is going to be viewed as a failure, particularly with how dominant they've been in this regular season.
Yeah, the Stanley Cup, no doubt. I want to see them get past the second round of the playoffs. We're still back to that even after they've already won a cup, right? I want to see them make a deep playoff run. That's something we need from this Avs team. I feel like they haven't maximized this window with McKinnon and Makar, and you can make the case that this is the best season the two have had together. So yes, Will, you need to at least get to the Cup and hopefully win it. But that President's Trophy, it's fun to have. I don't care. I just don't.
But you say at least get to the Cup. I'm sorry, they got to win it. They got I'm not going to throw them a second place parade with how dominant they are right now.
Hold on, Alex Singleton wants you to be throwing all the parades that you can.
Yeah, give us some context on that.
He said after this week with the Broncos game, don't defecate on the Broncos parade. They're already throwing parades out there at Empower Field. Maybe the Avs should have one too.
No, and I think the players would tell you the same thing. And Nathan McKinnon did tell us the same thing at Media Day, that it would be, quote, a disappointment if we don't get 2 cups with this core. They've gotten 1. It's time for them to get a second. So this is all fun. And beating Minnesota 5-1 is fun. But even reaching the final isn't going to be enough for me. They got to find a way to get this thing across the finish line. All right, John Elway back in the headlines, and for good reasons. His Netflix documentary is officially live. So he's doing the media tour, and he said some interesting things about the 2015 Broncos, comparing them to this year's Broncos, and we'll hit that next.
Did Nikola Jokic just set an NBA record that will never be broken?
That is a record that he is going to put away, retire it, lock it away. Stoke, it's never going to be beaten. I am confident in saying that Nikola Jokic is going to put the all-time assist record by a center in a place where it will never be touched ever again.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I could achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You will feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there is no one I trust more in hair restoration. Their simple FUE treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and your new hair is backed by the Advanced Hair Guarantee. I know from personal experience, Advanced Hair's exceptional standard of care makes your comfort and your results their top priority. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR. Discover what meeting your resolution could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
Men, we hear it all the time. A man comes in to get his erectile dysfunction treated, and very soon thereafter, he tells us that his relationship is renewed. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and you should know that ED doesn't just affect you, it also often affects your partner. They can feel undesired, unwanted, they may even feel like you don't love them anymore. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we've successfully treated thousands of men for ED with protocols that have success rates as high as 90%. Which means if you're like most men, we can get you back to the guy you used to be. You could even last up to an hour or more and find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and give your partner the gift of renewed love. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in our office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. That's RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... There, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
Okay, guys, the holidays are here, and you need a gift for your wife or that special lady, something really nice yet affordable. Hey, Mark Schlereth here with a terrific idea. This year, buy her a gift package to Beau Visage Skincare and Spa. They specialize in wonderful services like fabulous European facials, soothing therapeutic massage, and much, much more. But guys, let's be honest, you can buy a facial or massage anywhere. But at Beau Visage, you're not just buying a service. Instead, you're bringing your guest a true luxurious spa experience. Believe me, this place is great. And you'll never go wrong buying a gift package to Beau Visage. Plus, all their packages are very competitively priced and easy shopping. All you have to do is call them at 303-779-5002 or find them online at bvspa.com. This holiday, give her the gift of rest and relaxation, a luxurious gift of Beau Visage. Call them today, 303-779-5002 or bvspa.com. That's bvspa.com.
You're going to do a Neil Diamond show? A Neil Diamond experience from Focus Features.
Are you ready to sing?
Critics and audiences are raving. Song Sung Blue is fantastically entertaining.
It's good. So good.
With powerhouse performances from Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson.
Tell me I'm doing the right thing.
You are.
Based on a triumphant true story about never giving up on your dreams.
Sold out shows.
We're sold out? Song Sung Blue, rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Only in theaters this Thursday.
This holiday season, give the ultimate gift, a College Invest savings account. Do it by December 31st to qualify for a Colorado tax deduction. CollegeInvest.org.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan, powered by Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, you are halfway home. We are halfway home on a Tuesday. It's Will Peterson in for Zach By, Jake Shapiro hanging out for Phillip Lindsay. Those guys will be back on Friday. Give you the recap of Broncos, Chiefs, and Nuggets, Timberwolves. Christmas night, Ball Arena. Ball Arena is going to be lit, by the way. We'll get to that here coming up in about 4:15. But in the meantime, Jake, it's only been out for one day, so I'm putting you on the spot. I admit it.
But have you watched Elway on Netflix yet? I did not watch it last night because I had to catch up on the new episode of Landman that I missed on Sunday night, episode 6. So I did have to make a decision after Monday Night Football. You know, I got to get to bed. Am I doing one Landman or am I doing Elway? I did my Landman. I'm all caught up. So I think Elway's probably going to be on the docket tonight. I have not watched it. Have you dabbled into Elway yet on Netflix?
No, I have not. I actually finished watching Nobody Wants This on Netflix last night.
Good show.
Yeah, solid show. And to be honest, this is not the time of year for me to watch documentaries or, many shows because Will, I am watching the NBA as our NBA guy from about 4:30 in the afternoon till about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And then I'm normally writing about the NBA for DenverSports.com. And, of course, we've got our football duties as well. So I normally don't catch up on TV till the calendar turns till about late February, March.
All right, but Elway's on the radar of a lot of Broncos fans. People saw the trailer. It looks good. It looks insightful. I know it premiered downtown last month. Everyone who I know that saw it said it's really well done, really dives into the pressures that John faced as the quarterback who couldn't win the big one. And, younger people will say, what do you mean? The guy won 2 Lombardis. He's a legend. He's the best athlete who's ever suited up in Denver. Yeah, but you got to remember that in the 80s and 90s, people weren't quite as kind to John Elway. There was some family stuff going on as well that I know the documentary explores. And then, of course, he did have the storybook ending that he deserved, but took a long time for John to reach the mountaintop. So I am excited to check it out. I get it that you're busy. I'm sure you'll see it as well. Hit us up on the RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. If you've seen Elway, give us a review. But with John doing this media tour, he, of course, is promoting the documentary, but also joining guys like Rich Eisen. And he's getting questions about these current Broncos and comparing them to the 2015 Broncos, the team that John rebuilt really after a disastrous Super Bowl 48 and said, we got to have a better defense. He brings in Aqib Talib, DeMarcus Ware, TJ Ward. The Broncos really flipped the script of their identity, and after 48 went so poorly, 50 went brilliantly, and the Broncos hoisted their 3rd Lombardi trophy. So the question came up, what are the comparisons between this current Broncos team and the Super Bowl 50 team? Here's John Elway.
Super Bowl 50, we were so good on the defensive side, and I think we were 19th in the league in offense. But the one key factor we had there was we had the Peyton Manning factor there, and the fact that anytime he was on the field, everybody thought we could win a football game. And so I just they're still playing great defense. I think the offense has come a long way. I think Bo's got better week in and week out. He's still young and still makes some mistakes, but I think that he's got the potential to be a great one in this league for a long time. And the experience he's getting is great. And so the next 2 weeks are 2 big weeks for him, and I'm sure that they'll come out and play well. But I think to me, when I look back, I think this team's probably a little more well-rounded than we were, in the fact that offensively, I think they're a little more explosive than we were.
I mean, really interesting answer there from the Duke, because he basically says, yeah, our defense was elite, don't get me wrong, but this team's probably getting better quarterback play at the moment. And that's not a slight to Peyton Manning. I mean, I think Peyton Manning himself joked at the ESPYs that year about how Von Miller kind of carried him to a Super Bowl. Now, Peyton's leadership, I think, is completely undervalued. I think the switch from Brock Osweiler to Peyton Manning made by Gary Kubiak was critical. I think he pushed all the right buttons at the exact right time. And don't forget, Manning did throw a couple touchdowns in the AFC title game when they beat the Patriots by 2 points here in Denver. But that said, what do you make of John's answer there, kind of leaning toward, yeah, the defenses are both elite or have the potential to be elite, and the offense of the 2025 team may be better than the 2015 team?
Well, this team's already won as many games as that 2015 team, 12. They have the chance to win 2 more games than that 2015 team. Of course, there was only a 16-game schedule back then. But that being said, the Broncos this year statistically have a chance to have a better regular season. Their point differential was only 59 that year. Right now it's 67. I look at the offense of this year's team and I think, wow, that's not really that explosive of an offense. That's not the word I would use to use this offense. I think they break teams down and eventually, get a couple shots downfield and they score points. Like, they're not a bad offense, but I wouldn't use the word explosive. But it just goes to show you how bad offensively the Broncos were most of that year, and they were really carried by their defense. You could make a case statistically, the worst quarterback to win a Super Bowl in the last 25 years was Peyton Manning in 2015. Of course, not his whole career was he that bad, but that single season, Peyton Manning was just not a good quarterback anymore. And I would agree that Bo Nix at this point in his career is probably better than Peyton Manning was at that point in his career. So, yeah, I agree with John. It's a pretty balanced team comparatively, but the defense is nowhere near as dominant as that defense was.
And that's where I'd take a little bit of umbrage with it too, is that, and we've seen this from former players, right? Guys who were key parts of that 2015 team say, don't compare them to us, at least not yet, right? Because what the Broncos did in 2015, I mean, think about the QBs they beat to win the Super Bowl. They took out Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, and Cam Newton in a span of a month, Roethlisberger and Brady pretty much in their primes, and Cam Newton having an MVP year. The Panthers were just steamrolling everyone, and then the Broncos flipped the script and frankly broke Cam Newton. He was never the same quarterback after what Von Miller did to him in Super Bowl 50. And while we've seen flashes of this current defense, they are starting to look more and more leaky, to the point where if the Bills come to Denver for a playoff game, and Jake, this is, we laid out the scenarios. We'll do it again, how they get the 1 seed. This is assuming that the Broncos win their last 2 and get the 1 seed. If the Bills come to Denver for a playoff game, I think the Denver offense is going to have to score 30 points to win. And that's a big number. But Josh Allen, he's getting to 27 or 28 that day. You're going to have to win 31-28. Whereas you look at the Super Bowl 50 team, they weren't winning any types of games 31-28. They knew they had to win more like 20-17. They won the Super Bowl 24-10, stuff like that.
And it's not just Josh Allen if he comes to Denver. It's James Cook. And this team has not had a great rushing defense, Will. And that's one of the reasons why Buffalo would come in here and try to dominate you on the ground, try to minimize the game, try to keep your defense on the field and not making mistakes. That's something the Bills do such a good job of. That defense that year forced so many turnovers. It seemed like the amount of big plays they made were the reason why the Broncos ended up winning the Super Bowl, right? This year, you can go back to the Green Bay game and go, oh my God, Pat Surtain completely flipped the game with that defensive play. And yeah, they take a bunch of swipes at you and nicks at you and they cut you, time and time again with those sacks, but they're not getting the ball. And that 2015 team, I have vivid memories of how many times it's like, yeah, Von Miller's about to get a strip sack here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Aqib Talib's going to do something in the secondary here. Someone was going to make a play.
And are we concerned about this Broncos defense? The answer is, in my eyes, clearly yes. Not only based on what's happened since the bye week, but the injuries stacking up as well. If you missed it, Dre Greenlaw did not practice today. Things aren't trending in the right direction. Not that they can't get it turned around, and KC can't be a get-right game on Christmas night. But yes, my concern-o-meter on the Broncos right now is, defense, 6 out of 10.
First 8 weeks of the season, the Broncos were 4th best defense in EPA per play and 1st in success rate. The last couple weeks, 13 through 16, Broncos are 22nd in EPA per play, their defense, and their success rate is 7th. That's a huge drop from where they were.
Yeah, and Vance Joseph's got to find a way to fix it, because I think Broncos country is getting a little deja vu at the moment of like, oh, we saw this movie last year. Let's try not to see it this year. But could the get-right game be an Arrowhead in about 48 hours? We certainly hope so. And speaking of Christmas, let's look at both the Broncos and the Chiefs, plus maybe the better game that night. Maybe is it Ball Arena. We'll dive into some Nuggets next.
Will the Broncos take care of business in primetime and sweep the Chiefs? We'll break it all down in a special Christmas Day edition of the Fan Football Pregame Show, live on game day starting at 4 p.m. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Winter is here, Denver, and Hermes Rewide is your ride to all action. Whether you're bundling up to cheer on the Broncos at Empower Field or heading downtown to catch an Avs game on the ice or the Nuggets on the court, you know you need to get there on time and in style. So this holiday season, let Hermes handle the Christmas light tours, festive nights out, and that stress-free airport transfer. And leave the traffic and icy parking lots to somebody else. Hermes Worldwide offers championship-level transportation. Close your eyes and picture this. You and your crew rolling up to the stadium in a sleek, heated vehicle. No parking hassles, no driving worries, just a professional driver ready to get you to and from the game safely. Sounds great, right? Then you need to give them a call today at 303-577-7600 or visit ridehermes.com/DenverSports. Again, you can give them a call at 303-577-7600 or visit their website at ridehermes.com/DenverSports to book your next ride today.
Hey Broncos country, it's Terrell Davis here. You know, in the game of life, our most valuable asset is our health. With the right equipment, you can train like a pro. That's why I made the smart move to invest in fitness equipment with Fitness Gallery. It's a game changer. I have a true treadmill at home. It's the smoothest and quietest I've ever been on.
For the fitness fanatic on your Christmas list, save big this holiday season. At Fitness Gallery, we have deals everywhere, up to 50% off. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins. We have you covered.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Cake Mortgage Corp. Equal housing lender. NMLS number 1734623. Licensed in Colorado by the Division of Real Estate. Terms and conditions apply. Are you a first-time home buyer? Are you trying to lower your existing mortgage payment? Do you need cash from your equity? For most people, getting a mortgage means endless paperwork and weeks of anxiety. But with Cake Mortgage, our process is simple, fast, and hassle-free. Whether you're purchasing, refinancing, or looking to tap your home's equity, our team guides you step by step so you always know what's next. Our thousands of 5-star customer reviews will tell you no one can do what Cake can. So stop stressing and start saving fast with Cake. Your fresh-baked Cake home mortgage is ready to enjoy. So don't wait. Call 720-850-0012. That's 720-850-0012. Or visit cakehome.com to learn more now.
Men, it's the holidays, the season of all kinds of hustle and bustle. But if your energy is down, if you aren't sleeping well, if your sex drive is MIA and you just don't feel like the guy you once were, maybe it's tough to get excited for all the holiday cheer. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if this sounds like you may have low testosterone. And if so, this is the season for you to get treated. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're experts in treating low T. If you're like most guys, you'll feel the change in just a few weeks. And truly, the results can be life-changing. You'll have improved mental clarity, your energy will kick up, your workouts will be better, your sleep patterns will improve, and your sex drive will likely heat up as well. So call us, and don't go through another season with low T. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. That's RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
Dan Jacobs for 303 Law 4040, and I'm here with that beautiful voice you hear on the other end of the phone oftentimes when you call 303 Law 4040. It's my lovely wife, Kimberly. Kim, I know you and I had so much fun the other day. We actually met with a couple that had been in an accident up north in their house the other day, and Randy was so excited. He's like, I can't believe it. It's the lovely wife. She's right here in my kitchen.
He's too kind. It was really great to meet him and his wife and his pets and just be able to help them.
I think it helps that when you answer the phone, when people call 303 Law 4040, it makes things, I know calling a lawyer can be scary, but I don't know, your soothing voice just makes it a little bit easier.
Well, I just want to help. That's all. And I know how to do that.
I love the holidays. I always like to wish our listeners happy holidays. Would you like to do so as well?
Absolutely. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful new year.
And I hope you never need us, but just in case, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040. That's 303 Law 4040.
Helzberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for Dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is going to be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop in store at Helzberg.com for up to 50% off.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan's brought to you by Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
Tune into Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Wednesdays at 9:15 to hear ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky break down Bo Nix and the Broncos every week during football season. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Alrighty, we hope your holiday shopping is getting wrapped up.
If you're done with work for the week, good on you. Get home safe. Get to wherever you're going safe. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas from all of us here at Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. It's Will Peterson in for Zach By, hanging out with Jake Shapiro today. Phil and Zach will be back on Friday. Christmas night in Arrowhead. We've obviously talked a lot about it. We'll continue to talk more about it as the program goes on. Broncos and Chiefs. Broncos, no other way to slice it, have to win to keep their number one seed hopes alive, as well as the AFC West. I guess there's a scenario where you lose and beat the Chargers in Week 18 and you're still AFC West champions, but we're focused on the one seed. We want the Broncos to get the one seed. Again, plenty more coming up on that game, but in the meantime, Jake, I've got to ask you, is there an even bigger game, or maybe more exciting is the better term? Because bigger, no, it's not bigger. An NBA regular season game in December is not bigger than the Broncos fighting for the one seed. So let's throw out bigger, but maybe throw in more exciting. You will be at Nuggets and Wolves Christmas night, Ball Arena. That place, my friend, is going to be electric.
It was so awesome the last time I was there for Christmas. Every time I've been there for Christmas. Will, me and you have had the great fortune to be at some of the best moments that have ever taken place in Denver sports, specifically at Ball Arena. I saw the Nuggets hoist a championship at Ball Arena. I've seen some of the biggest goals. I've seen some of the greatest moments. Like I said, I have never heard that place louder than on Christmas Day 2022, when the Phoenix Suns, who had beat the Nuggets for years and years, and it was Suns in 4 guy, and Jamal Murray hadn't played against the Suns in forever. Jamal Murray has Devin Booker's number, but didn't have the chance to play. Finally is playing against the Suns, and we're like, this is the year the Nuggets are going to do it. But can they beat the Suns? This is the one question we have. Jokic is going off. Game goes to overtime. Nuggets finally separate themselves in overtime a little bit, and then Landry Shamet is in the last spot you want to be in the world, under the basket, when Aaron Gordon detonates on him, and all of Ball Arena, who were sick of their families from being around on Christmas all day, who had one, maybe two too many pops, goes off. That is the loudest I've ever heard an arena. And I cannot wait for maybe that chance again against, instead of the Phoenix Suns, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who kind of are now the Nuggets' rival.
Yeah, no, you're right. And you bringing that story up is so good, because I remember it like it was yesterday, the AG dunk. I mean, maybe the dunk of his lifetime. Although it's funny, the dunk of his lifetime may have been in the playoffs last year to win it against the Clippers. But in terms of sheer volume and popping the roof off a place, and I think you hit the nail on the head, man. The combo of people have been around their families all day, so they're excited. We all love our families, don't get me wrong, but there is a such thing as too much family time. They're excited to get out of the house, and it's an absurd tip time. I mean, if we're just being honest, 8:45, 8:50, whatever this tip is ultimately going to be is absurd. And what do people do when there's absurd tip times? They go get dinner, they go have a few pops, and they're enjoying themselves. And let's just say the crowd was sufficiently buzzed for the Nuggets and the Suns, and they will be on Thursday for the Nuggets and Wolves. Again, it's kind of what we talked about with the Avs early in the program. It's a regular season game. We get it. But considering the tortured history the Nuggets have had with the Wolves over the last couple of years, including blowing a Game 7 at home when they could have gone back-to-back, this is a fun one, man. I mean, not all 82 are created equal. You know that as well as everyone, because you cover almost all 82. Nuggets and Jazz last night, they shot really well from 3. That was exciting. Nuggets and Mavs tonight, national TV. A lot of people will be tuned in. But Nuggets and Wolves, man, for regular season games, this is about as fun as they come.
And there's a reason why this is the premiere day of the NBA regular season, and there's a reason why this matchup is taking place on this day. You know, the Nuggets had lost 6 straight games to the Wolves, going back to Game 6 blowout of the 2024 playoffs, that Game 7 collapse. Then last year, you have 4 games against the Wolves. You lose all 4. 2 of them were by blowout. 2 of them you blew, including that last game of the year, which basically got Michael Malone fired after Russell Westbrook blows that layup. Like, this history between these two teams, and you've got Mike Inori, Chris Finch, former Nuggets coaches, leading that team. You've got the Bones Highland angle for Minnesota, who's now playing serious minutes for the Timberwolves because Mike Conley's too old. Like, there's a lot of history between these two teams. But guess what, Will? The last 2 games you played against the Timberwolves this year, you won both of them. I know Anthony Edwards didn't play in one of those games, but the Timberwolves kind of are stuck in this place right now where it's like they kind of need to make a move, but it's too soon to make a move. How drastic do they want to be? They've been to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row, whereas the Denver Nuggets are freaking humming, man, and that's without Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon, who are not expected to come back in time for this game on Thursday. They're freaking humming, and you see the difference with Tim Hardaway Jr. obviously last night in his three-point shooting ability, but he was fantastic in both of the first 2 games against the Wolves as well. And I think that really breaks the dam open for the Nuggets against the Timberwolves team that has a lot of size and packs the paint.
Yeah, and I'm hoping a Broncos blowout. I mean, that would be ideal, right? We'll be working, but no one wants to hear about our problems or how much we work. We'll be working, but 99.9% of people listening right now are thinking the same thing. Hey, I kind of hope the Broncos are up 28-3, and I can flip over to the Nuggets. Or if I'm, watching the Broncos game and going to the Nuggets game, I don't have to stress. I'm not tracking it on my phone going, oh my gosh, the Broncos are tied with a third-string quarterback at 17 in the fourth quarter. In a perfect world, Jake, perfect world, the Broncos dominate the Chiefs like they should on Christmas night, and then everyone can shift their attention to, again, an atmosphere that's just going to be unreal at Ball Arena.
Yeah, and that's my hope as well. I hope that this Broncos game is over by the end of the first quarter, at least by the end of halftime, and we can just focus on the NBA, not only the Nuggets. There's a really good the NFL slate on Christmas, unfortunately, has developed into just horrible. It's like a really bad slate. Whereas the NBA slate on Christmas is fantastic, Will, and it culminates in this Nuggets game after a 5-pack of games. So, I mean, I can go through it with you. Cavs-Knicks, that's an exciting game on the East Coast, 2 of the best teams in the league. Spurs-Thunder, who play tonight, same time as the Nuggets-Mavs game. That's like the 2 best teams in the West that aren't the Nuggets. Mavs-Warriors will kind of be a snoozer, and then you've got the Rockets and Lakers, 2 of the other best teams in the West. Like, if I was not going to the Nuggets game myself, and I'm not complaining, I'm really psyched to go, but if I was not going to the Nuggets game myself, I'd be locked in on all 5 of these NBA games, just kind of sitting on the couch watching them.
Well, and I've got to ask you briefly, is this karma for the NFL? They try to hijack Christmas, and they get stuck with Cowboys, Commanders, blah, Lions, Vikings, yeah. And then Broncos, Chiefs. We're all very excited for the Broncos, don't get me wrong. They're clearly the best team that's taking the field. But is this a little bit of karma for Goodell of like, you dipped your toe in the water, you shouldn't have been doing it, and now the NBA is probably going to beat the NFL in ratings that day?
Yeah, and the NBA has played on Christmas since their second year as a league in 1947. This is a long, long tradition. Historically, the NFL had only ever played on Christmas when it just fell on a Sunday or a Saturday, the rare times they actually played Saturday games. I think this kind of is the sports gods coming down and telling you, this is basketball's day. I know we all love football in this country, and I love football too, don't get me wrong, but I woke up on Christmas morning my whole life, and I'd watch basketball, and I'd sit at the TV and watch basketball the whole day. And that's how I feel about this one. And again, it just goes to show you how lucky we are to have Nikola Jokic, because the Denver Nuggets have never been a premier team in the NBA, and they've been on Christmas almost every single year the last, 6-7 years, because they are a premier team as long as Nikola Jokic is here. So it's kind of cool to be thought of as one of those premier teams. Similarly, the Broncos and Chiefs were, supposed to be a premier game this year. So it is fun no matter what to get these standalone primetime games.
All right, it is Christmas Eve, or also Festivus, if you're familiar. So we're going to air some grievances. Get yours in now, 303-713-1043 on the RamosLaw.com text line. Flood that text line, 303-713-1043. It can be anything. It can be a sports-related grievance, a life-related grievance. We want to hear them all, and we will air some of those coming up next.
Denver is headed to Arrowhead for a Christmas showdown with Kansas City. Get yourself ready for kickoff with Denver Game Day, powered by Common Spirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos. Live on Game Day starting at 2 p.m. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
At Postman Law, we're not your typical personal injury firm. Our lawyers have argued and won at the United States Supreme Court. We've gone head-to-head with giant corporations like Uber and Amazon, and we've helped clients recover billions in verdicts and settlements. We bring that same firepower to every case, no matter the size. When you've been injured, having the right lawyer matters. Call 844-POSTMAN or visit postmanlaw.com. Others promise, Postman delivers.
Call 844-POSTMAN. Attorney advertising.
What if you could delay your next 2 mortgage payments? Imagine putting those 2 payments in your pocket ahead of the holidays. That's possible when you call American Financing. If you're feeling stretched by everyday expenses, groceries, gas, bills piling up, you're not alone. Most Americans are putting these expenses on credit cards, and credit card rates are insane, in the 20s or even 30s. American Financing can show you how to use your home's equity to pay off that debt with rates in the low 5s. Their salary-based mortgage consultants are helping homeowners just like you restructure their loans and save money every month, all without upfront fees. Their customers are saving an average of $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 raise without having to change jobs. Call now before it's too late at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. APR for rates in the 5s start at 6.196% for well-qualified buyers. Call 303-695-7000 for details about credit costs and terms.
This holiday season, AutoNation is unwrapping the biggest gift of all, the car you actually want, with 0 down and no payments for 90 days. With our coast-to-coast inventory of nearly 100,000 new and used cars, trucks, and crossovers, you'll find exactly what you're looking for. 0 down, no payments until April. That's the deal you deserve on the car you love. Hurry to your nearest AutoNation store or AutoNation.com. Limited term financing on approved credit. Interest accrues from date of purchase on deferred payments. See store for details.
Your air duct cleaning experts, Ductworks.
Hey guys, feeling cooped up this winter? Mark Schlereth here. You know these Colorado nights can get freezing cold with your furnace running non-stop just to keep things cozy. But here's the thing. While your heating system is working overtime, it's also blowing dust, dirt, and debris through your air ducts and straight into the air you breathe. That's where Ductworks comes in. Your trusted air duct cleaning experts. Using a powerful combination of scraping and vacuuming technology, the Ductworks team clears out years of buildup, grime, and other gunk hiding in your ductwork. The results? Cleaner, fresher air, better energy efficiency, and a healthier home or office for you and your family. Don't wait until spring. Breathe easier now with top-rated service from Ductworks. Call them at 303-425-0985 or visit them online today at ductworks.com for a free residential or commercial estimate.
303-425-0985. The West isn't just a place, it's a feeling. And this January 10th through the 25th, the National Western Stock Show presented by Common Spirit Health brings the heart of the West to Denver. So saddle up for 16 days of rodeo action, family fun, and championship livestock. This is where tradition meets excitement. This is who we are. We are the West. Tickets available at nationalwestern.com.
How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I could achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You will feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there is no one I trust more in hair restoration. Their simple FUE treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and your new hair is backed by the Advanced Hair Guarantee. I know from personal experience, Advanced Hair's exceptional standard of care makes your comfort and your results their top priority. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR. Discover what meeting your resolution could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
Hi, I'm Lexi, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. We'll help you find last-minute gifts that don't look last-minute, even if you're still planning to propose. At Shane Company, we'll show you perfect gifts at perfect prices, in stock and ready to give. Like hand-matched diamond studs, 14-karat gold chains, or the ultimate gift, a beautiful engagement ring. We have longer store hours, so you can skip the crowds and shop when you want, or visit us at shaneco.com. Because a friend wants you to be a holiday hero. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
right, so what are those grievances you got? A lot of problems with you people. The great Frank Costanza. Seinfeld made Festivus popular December 23rd. The airing of grievances. This is Will Peterson in for Zach By, hanging out with Jake Shapiro in for Phil. Let's start with some of the text line. RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. And a lot of this, you're not the only one, 6992. Our executive producer, Drew Spivak, told me this as well. I would be shocked if every NFL game doesn't double every single NBA game's ratings. Yes, I may have misspoke that the NBA is going to do better ratings. They're not. The NFL's king. I get it, especially on Christmas. But the quality of the games is going to probably be better in the NBA than the NFL. And also, don't forget, Jake, 2 of those games are on Netflix, and Netflix has had a little problem in the past with are those numbers that they're putting out people who were actually watching the live sporting event, or if someone was watching Big Mama's House 2, does that count as well in the Netflix ratings? So I see your text. I promise you. I get it. The NFL will do bigger numbers, but let's see what those Netflix numbers look like and go, are they believable, or were you putting in everyone who was watching Mr. Deeds as well?
And all the NBA games are on ABC, not ESPN or cable. They're on ABC. So, watch the holiday parade, then just keep it on.
All right, Jake.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
Go ahead. Give me a grievance or 2 on Festivus, and we'll get to plenty more on the RamosLaw.com text line.
This one's off the board for a lot of Denver sports fans, but I'm still mad at the Colorado Rapids for trading Georgi Mihalovic. He was one of the best Rapids I have ever seen play in the burgundy and blue, Will, and they traded him this summer, and nobody talked about it, and I finally get to air this one off.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
Keep going.
The Colorado Rockies. They had the worst season maybe in the history of baseball this year. And yeah, they've made it up, with some moves this offseason, bringing in some people they say are smart. But that was pathetic to watch all summer. And I went there and I jeered them all summer and I complained to their face, and I'm still not done here on December 23rd.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
All right, you gave us 2 good ones there. I have my first grievance, and it's with one Riley Moss. Okay, listen, I'm rooting for Riley Moss. I am a Broncos fan. I think Riley Moss has made some plays this year. I also think he has, and I am acknowledging this, been the victim of some shaky flags at best. That said, when Riley Moss gives up 13 catches for more than 150 yards and a touchdown last week, quit blowing up my social media that Riley Moss is so great and he's unbelievable and he has the hardest job in football playing across PS2. Riley Moss is a fringe cornerback in this league. He's not a number 2 corner. Let's quit pretending like it, and let's quit acting like poor Riley Moss can never get anything to go his way. I'm not questioning his effort. I'm not questioning his desire. I am questioning his ability at times. And we saw it last year against Cincinnati when T. Higgins ate his lunch, and unfortunately we've seen it a bunch of times this year as well. My grievance isn't necessarily with Riley Moss. It was with Broncos fans blindly defending the guy at all corners, thinking he can do no wrong, he can do things wrong, and unfortunately that has happened this season.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
I've got the shirt on right now. The Dark Horse in Boulder, Colorado, a legendary bar. It's supposed to close in March because if some developer wants to build some more housing in Boulder, which is needed. But the Dark Horse? We're going to sacrifice the Dark Horse, which has been around since 1975? Come on, man. We can't be losing the Dark Horse.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
Josh chimes in on the RamosLaw.com text line and says, my grievance is with all the LED headlights that make the drive home from an Avs win unbearable. Shout out, Josh. Yes, I always used to think, why does this guy or gal behind me have their brights on? They don't necessarily have them on. They just have ridiculous headlights. A good one coming in from Josh.
I got a lot of problems with you
Let's
people.
give the floor to our own Dante Gomez. Give me a grievance, my friend.
Notre Dame in their entitled fan base claiming that it's perfectly fine that they sat out of a game and just, complaining to no end about them not getting in the college football playoff, even though they didn't deserve to get in there, even though BYU has more of a right to be mad about not getting in. But Notre Dame thinks it's all about them, and they're going to take their ball and go home, and they're just incredibly soft about the whole situation.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
Oh, I'm still mad that Russell Westbrook was ever a Nugget, man. And he is the reason why, one of the reasons why Michael Malone does not have a job working for the Denver Nuggets today. I called it on the Mile High Hoops podcast. The minute he signed, Russell Westbrook will get Michael Malone fired. And he did exactly what Russell Westbrook always does. He wows you with his athleticism and his hustle early on in the season, and then as soon as everyone in the NBA starts to try late in the year, Russell Westbrook becomes a meaningless player, and he shot the Denver Nuggets out of that series against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
And I've got to go up to Boulder, man, because Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, had a lot of hype when he got here, and 2023 did not go well. To his credit, turned it around in a big way in 2024. One of the most memorable Buff seasons we've had in the last 25 years or so. Travis Hunter wins the Heisman Trophy. Shedeur Sanders, a great player, fell unexplained, or maybe not unexplained, but inexplicably in the draft through some of his own actions, but I also think some actions that were being punished by NFL owners. That all said, Deion Sanders is 16-21 as the head coach of the Buffs, and there's been a mass exodus in Boulder already this offseason in the transfer portal. There's not a lot of hope, and he's making $10 million a year. He's making money that should deliver a product that is consistently competing for Big 12 championships and the college football playoff. And guess what? I'm rooting for Deion. I like his swagger. I like his personality. I love his confidence. I'm rooting for him in his health battles. I know he's gone through a lot, but my airing of the grievance is with people, much like Riley Moss, who blindly defend Deion Sanders. Has not been a good calendar year for Coach Prime or the Buffs, and at the end of the day, he better turn it around and better turn it around quick, or I fear that come this time next year, CU will be looking for a new head coach.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
All right, who wants to finish it off, Jake or Dante? Who's got the best one to send us out?
I got one more. It's almost in the opposite direction of airing of grievances and Festivus, but the lack of Christmas decorations. At least in my neighborhood, we're like probably 30% of the houses have Christmas decorations, and I just think that's incredibly lame. And I'm going to also, me and Zach had a big conversation about it. I'm going to also throw in inflatable decorations. I think they are just so classless. You know, put some lights up, put some garland up, do some actual decorating, not just put an inflatable in your front lawn.
As Jerry Stiller would say about what you just said, Dante, too much tinsel. Too much tinsel.
All right, Jake, we'll give you the floor. You've got one left. The text line's blowing up, 303-713-1043. We'll get to plenty more of these, but Jake, the final grievance of this segment.
I love this place so much. But Colfax, man, the construction on Colfax is brutal. I don't know how the city approved this plan and thought this was a good idea. Have you tried to get from north to south on the east side of Denver around Colfax lately? It is impossible. A lot of my favorite businesses are struggling. This is having a real effect on people. And yes, this bus line could be awesome. But how can you get around on Colfax right now? It's impossible. The city messed up there.
All right, good segment. Keep them coming. 303-713-1043. I feel better. Got some things off our chest as we air our grievances here on December 23rd. And one of those grievances could be if the Broncos blow the number 1 seed. But guess what? There is a path to them to secure it this weekend, and we'll lay that out for you coming up next.
Did Nikola Jokic just set an NBA record that will never be broken?
That is a record that he is going to put away, retire it, lock it away, stoke. It's never going to be beaten. I am confident in saying that Nikola Jokic is going to put the all-time assist record by a center in a place where it will never be touched ever again.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here on behalf of the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, talking to you men out there. Hey, how you feeling around this holiday season? Are you feeling jolly? You have that pep in your step? Or are you feeling sluggish? You have low energy. Maybe your sleep patterns are off. You're not making it to the gym like you used to. And you're dealing with brain fog. You feel like falling asleep after dinner. All right, guys, believe it or not, these could all be tied back to symptoms of low testosterone, which happens to us men as we age. You didn't do anything wrong, but I encourage you, go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com, take the low T quiz on their website. It's a simple 10-question quiz with yes or no answers. Takes 2 minutes or less. But from there, you can schedule a consult with Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. They'll draw your blood. They'll have the results within 30 minutes. A Colorado licensed medical provider will review those results with you, discuss your options, and you'll make a decision together with their medical team. Cost of the appointment is only $99. That includes a medical consult, AT, and PSA test. And if you sign up for testosterone treatment the day of that appointment, your visit is free. Fellas, go take that low T quiz at RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Toyotathon is on at Corwin Toyota. Save big when you lease a new 2025 Tacoma SR5 for just $369 down and $369 a month, or drive off in a new 2025 RAV4 XLE for as little as $399 down and $399 a month. Unwrap your holiday savings during the Toyotathon sales event. Visit us off Pearl Parkway or shop online at CorwinToyotaBoulder.com. Corwin Toyota, family driven for over 100 years.
So Pure Talk just had their best year ever and asked me if I'd like to thank their customers on their behalf for being so awesome. I said sure. It's important to say thanks, especially this time of year, which is why, as one of their many satisfied customers, I should probably thank Pure Talk first for keeping their customer service in this country and for providing hundreds of American jobs. I appreciate that. I also appreciate their Roundup program, which makes it easy to support America's Warrior Partnership and join the fight against veteran suicide. And I love that Pure Talk donated 1,000 hand-sewn Made in America flags to veterans around Independence Day. And of course, I really appreciate their generous support of my own foundation, MicroWorks, and their commitment to help us train the next generation of skilled workers. Having said all that, it's now my pleasure, on behalf of everyone at Pure Talk, to thank you sincerely for choosing to do business with an American wireless company that actually stands for something. And one more thing. Merry Christmas.
This is Rob Wilhite of the Wilhite Law Firm. If you've been seriously injured in a truck or car wreck, you want Wilhite. Get your free case review now. We've been voted best personal injury law firm for the last 3 years in a row. Visit WilhiteWins.com and win big with Wilhite.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today, 720-204-8100. That's 720-204-8100.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. See website for details.
Want to look 10 years younger and lose 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds before spring? Then it's time for Soda Weight Loss. Soda Weight Loss works without drugs or crazy side effects. In fact, our disclaimer would sound like this.
Side effects at soda weight loss may include looking better than you did in high school. Friends asking, okay, seriously, what are you doing? Long-term confidence, increased energy, the urge to take more photos because you actually like what you see.
I'd been wanting to lose weight. I tried on my own. I'd been seeing things for soda, and I was like, okay, I gotta go see what it's all about. It's a great idea. It's a great experience, and I couldn't be happier, honestly, with the results.
You do not have to use weight loss drugs to lose weight and enjoy a healthier, I look 10 years younger version of you. With Soda Weight Loss, you get round-the-clock access to your own personal nutritionist, and right now, when you join Soda Weight Loss, your partner joins for free. Visit sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. I think I'm some kind of football prophet.
Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get super sure. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, but super sure. Coming soon.
Get ready for every Broncos game with Super Bowl 50 champion Brandon Marshall as he joins the drive every Friday afternoon at 4:45 exclusively on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Thanks to Corwin Toyota Boulder. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. DenverSports.com and the Denver Sports app. You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, great stuff, Aaron. Your grievances with us. Let's hit a few of those before we get into this Broncos #1 seed this weekend scenario. It's Will Peterson and Jake Shapiro hanging out with you on this Christmas Eve. And in honor of Festivus, we are airing some grievances. Rick in Littleton chimes in and says the Nuggets, and especially Joker, don't get more respect from the refs. That's my beef. I'm with you, Rick. I wouldn't have thought at this point in time, with Nikola Jokic winning 3 MVPs, quite frankly, he should have 5 in a row, going for his 6th in a row this year, that he still gets a whistle that blows my mind. Jake, you're down there covering the Nuggets all the time. Is the refs still don't respect Jokic thing an issue in your eyes? Because it is in mine, and it is in Rick in Littleton's eyes.
I think if you read DenverSports.com, you see quite frequently I'm the person calling out the referees. And I hate to be that guy, but it has a huge impact. The team that leads the league in free throw shooting right now is the Los Angeles Lakers. And they always do. And there's a reason for that, right? Luka Doncic gets to the line 12 times a game, Will. Nikola Jokic gets there 6.5.
Ooh.
Who takes more shots under pressure near the paint? It's Jokic.
Right.
I don't understand why the league officiates a guard and a big differently. There's only 4 inches and maybe 30-pound difference between Luka and Jokic. It's not that much different.
30 pounds? Come on now.
Hey, maybe
Luka's not that big.
That was before the GQ pictures.
Yeah, before he got traded. Dante the 9753's got beef with you. Says inflatables are not classless, you butthead. Called you a butthead there. Dante's grievance was the lack of traditional Christmas decorations and instead inflatables coming up. The 7053, my grievance is still with a different Russell. That would be Russell Wilson. We are still using up valuable cap space on that bum. The Broncos have overcome the largest dead cap in NFL history, and Sean Payton has navigated it brilliantly. But even a few years later, I have no problem with the texter Aaron in the grievance with Russell Wilson. It may legitimately go down, and everything's worked out. Don't get me wrong. Everything has worked out. But it may legitimately go down as one of the worst trades in NFL history. And the fact the Broncos are where they are, just 3 years removed from making said trade, is kind of remarkable. It is sort of hard to wrap your mind around that trade didn't set them back 5-10 years.
No, that was a trade and a contract that should have set the Broncos back 5 to 10 years, as you said, Will. When they cut Russell Wilson, I thought, well, heck, the Broncos are going to be bad for another decade. And it's been a remarkable job by Sean Payton and, George Payton working within the fringes of the roster to make sure this team gets good. And it's one of the reasons why I've said over and over, next year might be the year for you because that cap hit comes off the books. Bo will be in year 3, still on the rookie contract because year 4 is when it really starts to kick in the money. And, you have all these players that are starting to get more money, yes, but that Russell Wilson money comes off the books. So I've always circled 2026 with the Broncos, but a couple years ago, I wasn't circling 2026. I was circling, well, heck, they're going to be bad for a couple years. Then they're going to need draft picks. And then are they going to need draft picks on top of that because they're going to have to pay those guys? So it's, a remarkable turnaround despite the circumstances.
Yeah, it's really impressive how quickly they've done it after making that trade. Phil in Arvada chimes in. 2 main grievances. Number 1, make pass interference not a spot foul, but a 15-yard penalty and automatic first down. No more 40-yard penalties. And number 2, get rid of illegal man down the field for offensive linemen who go past 3 yards from the line of scrimmage. Phil, I'm with you on the DPIs that it does seem harsh at times. Now, I understand. If a guy has a clear touchdown and a defender tackles him, it should probably be a spot foul. But if there's some sort of hand fighting that happens 37 yards away and the offense just is gifted those 37 yards, it does feel like to me that sometimes the punishment doesn't fit the crime, and that's been something that's really hurt Riley Moss this year, is a lot of those penalties have been major chunks because unlike college, the NFL makes some spot fouls.
Yeah, rare time where college football actually has this right where it's probably 15 yards. It should be 15 yards every time. I don't want to get into the world of the referee has the judgment to make it a 15-yard play or a spot foul. That would be even worse, in my opinion. But I think I'd be satisfied with 15 yards and a first down.
Yeah, and the 15-18 to put a cap on some of your grievances. More to get to. We'll do them in the next hour, but let's close on this one. And I actually think this is well said. Quote, my grievance isn't with Riley Moss. It's the fact that we drafted Jahdae Barron in the first round, and he still isn't living up to expectations. The only thing I'd push back on that is look at the snap count, particularly last Sunday.
Jahdae Barron was on the field for like 20% of the snaps. For whatever reason, Vance Joseph, Sean Payton aren't trusting Jahdae Barron quite yet, and that's where I think the grievance is legit. You took a corner in the first round, and I understand it was perhaps a luxury pick to take a cornerback in the first round. That said, he's a Thorpe Award winner. He should probably be on the field more, particularly when your number 2 corner is getting a lot of penalties against him, had tackling issues this last Sunday, and is still getting burned deep. It's going to be a strong word, I am disappointed in Jahdae Barron's rookie season.
I was hopeful that on Sunday, with Jones out, we would see Barron in some more unique looks from the Broncos defense. I thought that was an opportunity for Barron. So I'm disappointed with the way that draft has played out as of now as well, Will. I really like McMillan. I think he's a really solid player, but the fact that he's probably the second best Broncos corner, I think is a really bad sign.
Interesting. All right, keep them coming. Some great ones, some more on there that we haven't got to, but it's a fun topic. And for the people who are mad, you don't have to take it that seriously. We're just having some fun 2 days before Christmas. Get in a better spirit, Mr. Grinch. I'm looking at you, 8304. All right, Broncos, number 1 seed this weekend. Yes, it can happen, but they need a ton of help. Let's go through this, Jake. First and foremost, they have to beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead on Christmas night. That's a no-brainer. Where are you at with this Broncos and Chiefs game right now? Because I kind of have, like, you know when you have the devil and the angel on each shoulder? I kind of have that going on. I'm not going to lie. The angel's telling me, listen, the Chiefs are starting some third stringer that before last weekend no one had ever heard of. And the Broncos defense is going to get back on track. Arrowhead's going to be half empty. Mahomes isn't going to be there. They got nothing to play for. And Denver's going to win this game like 27-10. But then I got the devil going, what have the Broncos done all year? They've played down to the level of their opponents. Now, they've also played up to the level of their opponents, and that's been great because they've won games against elite teams. They've also played really close games against bad teams. We've still got 48 hours-ish till kickoff, so I'm not going to make a decision yet. But what side are you leaning to? Hey, don't overthink it. This is going to be a Broncos blowout, or, they've played close games all year. We're in for another nail-biter on Christmas evening.
The Chiefs have 2 quarterbacks that are healthy on their roster. Neither had completed a pass in the NFL before last week. I'm all Angel, man.
Okay.
I'm all Angel. You already read the practice reports to me. You said, what, McDuffie and
Rashee Rice, both DNPs today. Obviously, Mahomes, Gardner Minshew, both out.
Yeah, they're shutting down. I know Travis Kelce's going to go out there and play. He had a great line on his podcast the other day about respecting the game and wanting to play and give it his all. I have a lot of respect for Travis Kelce and wanting to play in this situation. But the reality is it's actually beneficial for the Chiefs to lose more games at this point and try to get Patrick Mahomes another weapon next summer or, this spring for...
late April for the draft.
Yeah. And maybe you're replacing Travis Kelce with a tight end in the draft. I don't know. Get someone better on defense, something like that. So... And then you look at the Broncos. Will, I know you're referencing the Jets game. That was in, London. Maybe that was a crazy game just because everything that happens in London is topsy-turvy.
But I'm referencing the Titans closer than it should have been. I'm referencing
First
the Raiders on Thursday Night Football closer than it should have been.
I'm giving you the excuses. The one time they did blow out a team that they should have. The Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep, with Jake Browning.
With a backup quarterback. Similar situation to this. I know this one's a short week, more similar to the Raiders than that, but I'm hoping that this game and what the Bengals game showed us is something that's replicable. Not replaceable. What's the word, Will? Help me. Wreckable. Nope. I'm just struggling. It's something
repeatable. Let's just go with repeatable.
Yep.
There you go.
That was brutal. Something repeatable for Thursday's game on Christmas.
Yeah, maybe they laid out that formula of, hey, other teams got a backup quarterback, in this case a third-string quarterback, and they beat him up. And let's be honest, people are going to show up to Arrowhead because they've had these tickets for a while. And I know it's going to be warmer than expected, and it's not going to be miserable and cold. But do Chiefs fans really want to sit in Arrowhead till 11 o'clock Central Time, 10:30 Central Time on Thursday night watching their team get killed? No. They don't. If you're up 20-3 at halftime, how Arrowhead has that ugly club level that's like the mustard color, and it's just not aesthetically pleasing. That thing will be a ghost town if the Broncos handle business in the first half. The crowd will be totally out of it. And guess what? We'll get Al Michaels on the broadcast, and he'll just complain, and it'll be great listening to Al just whine about the game. And let's hope that's the case. Let's hope it's a laugher, and everyone can flip over to the Nuggets and Wolves. All right,
so it'll be a lot of Al Michaels complaining and Taylor Swift shots.
I don't think she's going to be there, dude. And honestly, they haven't showed her much this year at all. I think she came to some deal with the NFL, stop showing me or something, because she was getting a lot of camera time. Now, maybe that's a product of the Chiefs haven't really done much, but I think if you're a world-famous global superstar, you got better things to do than go to this game on Christmas night, but we'll see. All right, Chargers. This is the big one. Saturday, and we're going through how the Broncos get the 1 seed this weekend because there is an outside shot at it. They need 5 things to happen. 1 is beat the Chiefs. 2, you need the Chargers to lose or tie with the Houston Texans. Now, this one gets a big old gold star next to it because it's also for the AFC West. That if you win and the Chargers lose or tie, the Broncos are AFC West champions for the first time since 2015. Jake, we are massive Houston Texans fan on Saturday. This determines whether or not Week 18 at Empower Field at Mile High is for all the marbles. The AFC West, perhaps the number 1 seed. I hate scoreboard watching and counting on help, but if there was ever time to get help, D'Amico Ryans, C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins come through for Broncos country. This is a huge game, about as big as they get, that the Broncos aren't taking the field themselves.
If the Chargers win on Sunday, no matter what the Broncos do on Thursday, Week 18 turns into a showdown for the AFC West. So if there was ever a time to just be like, oh my God, I never root against other teams or whatever, this is the time to just literally go out and buy a Houston Texans jersey. Like you are a bigger supporter almost of the Houston Texans this weekend than you are of the Denver Broncos themselves. Like it's almost on equal footing. So I look at the Texans, and now that the Broncos win streak has ended, they've won 6 games in a row, Will, and I know it was tight against the Raiders this week. Similar to the Broncos have been tight against the Raiders, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they just blew out the Cardinals. That Chiefs game wasn't close. That defense is fantastic. You could make a case that there's only a couple elite defenses in the NFL. Broncos, probably one of them. The Texans are certainly one of them. And now that they've got C.J. Stroud playing better football, Nico Collins is healthy, I could make a case that the Texans are the second best team in the AFC. So I think it's highly likely that the Los Angeles Chargers find themselves in a really tough battle against the Texans. However, the Chargers, who are also playing really good football right now, are favorited in that game.
Interesting. Okay, so we'll have close eyes on that one too. And then the next 3 are all on Sunday. You need a New England loss, you need a Bills loss or tie, and you need a Jaguars loss or tie. Now, again, I want to give the caveat that if Denver wins their last 2 games, none of this matters. They will be AFC West champions, and they will be the number 1 seed. But it would be very nice to have it all said and done by this Sunday night, because then Week 18, we could get back to the conversation of, do you play the starters? Do you rest them? Do you play them a half? All that good, fun stuff. If you told me the Jaguars are going to lose or tie to the Colts, I'd say maybe. You know, Phillip Rivers played okay last night, and the Indy defense, while they were horrible against the Niners, did fare well against the Seahawks the week before. Maybe. If you told me the Bills are going to lose or tie to the Eagles, I'd say, sure, I can buy that. Philly's the defending champ. You never know if they're going to get hot at the right time. They're certainly going to be a playoff team winning the NFC East, so that wouldn't shock me. The problem, Jake, is the Patriots aren't losing to the Jets. It's just not going to happen. The 12-3 New England squad led by Mike Vrabel isn't going to fall to the 3-12 Jets that, you know, we always joke about 1-2-3 Cancun. The Jets are 1-2-3 Cancun. Very, very unlikely. 4 of these 5 things could absolutely go Denver's way if everything breaks right. The 5th one, the Patriots losing to the Jets, the odds on that are absolutely minuscule.
The biggest favorites of the weekend are the Broncos against the Chiefs and the Patriots against the Jets. Will, do you know who the starting quarterback is for the New York Jets right now?
It is Brady Cook, and I only know that because he played at my alma mater, Missouri. Was not very impressed with him with the Tigers, and quite frankly surprised he's now an NFL starter.
Yeah, I knew you would know, and you're the only person in America besides the New York market that knows who's the starting quarterback for the New York Jets right now. You know, they've had a really rough go of it. I don't think they've won a game since before Halloween at this point, and they are classically tanking. And there's some matchups between some really bad teams the last 2 weeks around football where the Jets could still end up with the number 1 pick. So that's something they definitely are going to go after because they don't have a quarterback. You know, I know this is a light quarterback class. The Patriots have been fantastic this year, Will. They keep getting better. They look better again this weekend, and I know they just blew that game against Buffalo. But the number one seed is still on the line for the Patriots. We're talking about from the Broncos' perspective. Well, from the Patriots' perspective, they can get the number one seed if they take care of business against the Jets and Dolphins.
And get a little help.
And the help they get is the Broncos losing to the Chargers in Week 18, which is possible.
Right. Interesting. All right, we'll definitely be scoreboard watching this weekend. Would love to get the 1 seed, but the big one, gosh, please wrap up the division. And the Broncos need to beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead, and then we need the Chargers to lose or tie to the Texans. I think you said it well. Go get your Texans jersey. We are big Houston fans on Saturday. All right, this is KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. It is 5:01 on this Tuesday, December 23rd, and you've got The Drive. It's Will Peterson and Jake Shapiro in for Zach By and Phillip Lindsay with you for another hour before we hand it off to Denver Sports Tonight with our guy Chad Andrus. And Jake, it is going to be, in my eyes, disappointing if the Broncos end up getting a wild card. That was my column this morning at DenverSports.com, that getting a wild card would sour what's been a special season. It's very rare a team wins 11 games in a row and then ultimately isn't in the top 4 seeds. Now, they're in a tough division with the Chargers playing great football, but I'm curious your take on the Broncos needing to finish the job because they've had too much go well this season not to, and that task will be winning their last 2 games to lock up the 1 seed, lock up the division. If their path to the Super Bowl is 2 home games, I can see it happening. I can see us all going to Santa Clara and covering Super Bowl 60. If it's 3 road games and the Chargers win the division and you got to beat the Steelers and then the Jaguars and then the Patriots all on the road back-to-back-to-back weeks, I think their odds of going to the Super Bowl are 5% or even less than that. Fair take by me to say that at this point, a wild card would sour what obviously has been a very successful season.
Yeah, coming into the season, if you were like the Broncos need to get to 14 wins, you would be, head over heels. You're like, what? They're going to get 14 games? They're going to win 14? No way. But because the way things have developed, the win streak, the bounces the Broncos have gotten, the championship window slid wide open for the Denver Broncos because the 1 seed is on the table. And the 1 seed being there, just allows you to have 2 home games to get to the Super Bowl. And then anything can happen in an NFL game. So at this point, where the Denver Broncos, all they would have needed to do is win 2 games at home, or one of the 2 games at home, and then beat a Kansas City Chiefs team on their 3rd-string quarterback to get the 1 seed, and they don't do it, it would be massively disappointing. And Sean Payton laid out the goals this season as, making sure you win the division and then get the best seed possible. You fail goals 1 and 2 by losing any time in the next 2 weeks now. So, yeah, Will, it would be massively disappointing given what was on the table just a week ago for us in Denver, and now what we're looking at here with a tough battle to get to that 1 seed. Yeah, they can do it. It's still in their destiny. It's great that it's in their destiny. But that Week 18 against Los Angeles could be a really tough game.
And it could be a huge game. Could be the biggest regular season game since Peyton Manning's return in 2015 when Gary Kubiak made the change from Osweiler to Manning to ensure the Broncos got the 1 seed. They, of course, went on to win a couple home playoff games and win Super Bowl 50. Sean Payton at the podium today got asked about if he's kind of taking it a little harder on the guys, knowing that they're such massive favorites versus the Chiefs.
Well, we don't really pay attention to that. I think we try to stay in touch with the game, this game specifically. Every one of these players understands the significance of where we're at with 2 games left in the season. But we don't really follow the spread, honestly. And there's just too many other things. I mean, this is a 3-day work week. And so today's meeting this morning was where we're at, the opponent we're playing, what's taken place since the last time we played them. There's carryover. So I think for both teams on a short week, there's defenses and offenses, maybe plays that neither one of us got to use in the first game that still may apply. So that helps.
I mean, he downplays the spread, Jake, but the spread is what it is because on paper, Denver is so much more talented than this version of Kansas City, the version that doesn't have Patrick Mahomes, that's not going to have Rashee Rice and Trent McDuffie, the team that is focused on where they're headed this offseason for the first time in forever. I mean, in the Mahomes era, all they do is play in AFC title games and play in Super Bowls. This is a really weird position for a lot of the guys on the roster to be in. So I think Sean gave the politically correct answer there. We don't pay attention to the spread. But the reality is that this should be a blowout. It should. We talked about the Chiefs quarterback earlier in the show. I already forgot the cat's name. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just don't remember his name. Is it Chris something?
Chris Oladuncan.
Oladuncan? I mean, if you can't go beat Chris Oladuncan, you don't deserve to be the 1 seed. So, while I don't mind Sean's answer there, well, they could bust out some things we haven't seen before. The reality is every Broncos fan with a functioning brain knows you need to beat Chris Oladuncan with this much on the line.
Can I give you my intrusive thought?
Sure. I mean, I did the whole angel devil thing earlier, so yeah, go for it.
I don't really believe this, but what if it's like Travis Kelce's last game? It's Christmas. It's in prime time, and they just, and the Broncos have trouble carding tight ends. We already saw that with Travis Kelce earlier this year, and it's just peppering Kelce and peppering the tight ends. And the Chiefs have a couple trick plays that really confuse you, and Andy Reid wants to make a mockery of you the same way that Andy Reid won the first AFC West against the Broncos, right? Like, just making a mockery of the Broncos.
You're talking about the fat guy touchdown, I believe, on Christmas, where he threw it with, gosh, it was one of those defensive linemen. I can picture the guy. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm talking about. We all remember it in Broncos country, right?
Yeah.
And on the other side,
real quick, Reid was doing that when the Chiefs had swagger. The Chiefs are now absent of swagger, and they're starting Chris
Oladuncan. They're desperate. But on the same side, what if Sean Payton, who we know can be a little too aggressive for his own good and is pretty egotistical at times, decides, I'm going to break out all my trick plays. I'm going to do something wild. I want to prove a point. And it just backfires in the Broncos' faces. I don't see a way in which the Broncos lose this game. Not really, not earnestly, not seriously. But could I see this game being much closer than it needs to be just because Sean Payton has to prove a point and Travis Kelce's out here having the last game of his Hall of Fame career? I could.
Yeah, well, he'll still have one more in Vegas against the Raiders. Home game.
It's the last home game.
Yep.
It's on Christmas. It's a little different.
Yeah, there's not going to be a lot of eyes on Chiefs Raiders in Week 18 without Patrick Mahomes, that's for sure. And then the short week, it throws a wrinkle into everything. It just does. We saw Broncos Raiders be ugly on a short week. I give my guy Richie Carney credit. He nailed it, and he's not the only one, but he nailed it earlier this year. He said international games and short weeks, those can throw a wrinkle into things. Here was Sean Payton on what's most important about playing in a short week.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think the most important thing that we've learned is the recovery. Like how we approach this week compared to what we used to do, not knowing any better. The rest and getting their bodies back. The thing that's also interesting is different than Sunday games, Sunday night games, Monday night games, Thursday night halftime lead, 82% winner. So starting fast is important on Thursday night.
Yeah, it wants to come out fast. That rest and recovery is going to obviously be important. If you missed it, just tuning in. Go check it out at DenverSports.com. No Dre Greenlaw at practice today for the Broncos, to be expected after he pulled up in the last couple of minutes of that Jaguars game. But also no Pat Bryant. That's, again, expected with the scary situation he faced on Sunday. No Luke Wattenberg, Broncos starting center, is also going to be, questionable, most likely to play in this football game. We'll get final injury report tomorrow. The good news, Justin Strnad did practice today, could get in there for Greenlaw. The short week thing, we talked about it with Josh Dover at the beginning of the program, Jake. I think it's good for the Broncos to get the taste out of their mouths, but also short weeks can throw wrinkles into things.
Not only can short weeks throw wrinkles into things, but I do feel like, as Sean Payton said, the Broncos need to swallow this loss. It won't allow them to maybe fully digest that they need to make some serious improvements before the playoffs start. And I do think that the Denver Broncos needed to lose. They needed to have a good loss to regroup. I don't know that 4 days later getting fat and happy against the Chiefs is going to be the proper solution to fixing some of these teams' problems that are pretty apparent to all of us that have watched them all year.
All right, let's bring a third voice into this conversation. Our guy, the editor at DenverSports.com, James Marilat, joins the program. It's Will Peterson and Jake Shapiro in for Zach and Phil. James, let's just start big picture. How are you feeling about Broncos and Chiefs on Christmas night in Arrowhead against a quarterback that no one had ever heard of 3 days ago?
I mean, it's the ultimate must win, right? Not only because of what the standings look like and how precarious now that hold on the division and the number one seed is, but you're not playing against Mahomes. You're not playing against Gardner Minshew. You're playing against a guy who's hardly played, nobody's ever heard of. And, yeah, the Broncos only have 4 days to get ready for the Chiefs, but as Bo Nix said today at the podium, it's the same for them, too. So, Bo Nix, this is his fourth time around playing the Chiefs. Almost beat him in Arrowhead last year. They had the laugher in the finale at the end of last season. Beat him here earlier this year. So it's a short week, but it's a familiar foe. It's not as though, Spagnuolo is going to do a lot of things that he's never done before. Sean Payton's seen him a million times. So I think the short week thing is overrated in this instance. I think it's much tougher on Andy Reid and a new quarterback getting ready for the Broncos than Bo Nix and Sean Payton getting ready for the Chiefs.
Do you think the short week gets in the way of what I was just talking about, James? The Broncos digesting that loss against Jacksonville for what it was and the need to make some improvements before facing this playoff schedule?
I think if they had a better opponent this week, I would agree with you. Because I think that would allow you the time to get ready for, pick an opponent. Let's say they were playing a middle-of-the-road team, a team from the AFC North, right? They're playing the Bengals or the Steelers or somebody like that. Yeah, you'd want a little more time to address the problems. I think this might be, and you hate to say an easy game because there's no game in the NFL that's easy. This isn't Alabama against a directional school, right? So it's never as easy as it appears on paper, but this is about as easy as it's going to get. Then, to your point, Jake, you've got 10, 11 days to work on your problems with the huge game against the Chargers looming. So I almost think a couple extra days for this one might be wasted. I'd rather use that time to get ready for what's going to be the biggest game in Power Field in 10 years. So I think they do need to address some issues. I think they do need the time to look at those things. I just think it'd be a little bit of wasted effort getting ready for a team that looks like they're 1-2-3 Cancun.
All right, so with that said, we know that the Texans can do the Broncos a huge favor on Saturday, and if they beat the Chargers and Denver handles the Chiefs, the Broncos will be AFC West champions for the first time since 2015. We've laid out on the show today how they get the 1 seed, and it involves an awful lot. You need a ton of help, but how much scoreboard watching will you be doing this weekend as a Broncos fan? How much do you think the team will be doing? And are you rooting for the Texans? I feel like that seems obvious on the surface, or do you want Denver to have to earn it themselves in Week 18?
No, I mean, I'll be doing a ton of scoreboard watching. I will be rooting for all the combinations that allow the Broncos to clinch the division, clinch a number 1 seed, clinch as much as they can, because you never want it to go to Week 18 when anything can happen, right? Like, look at the Broncos Chargers. If both are in it, both playing for the 1 seed, both playing for the AFC West, it's pretty much a coin flip game. And, a coin flip's better than some odds, but that's a lot of work all season coming out of that. So if things can fall your way and you can clinch this week, you take it. That said, I do think if you have the opportunity where, hey, we can rest people in Week 18, you ain't playing until January 17th or 18th, and the last game you played was on Christmas. Fellas, that's a long gap and no time to address some of the things that were, glaring problems against the Jaguars. So that would be trouble. And then, guys, look, I'm going to be old guy playing history on you. Back in 1996, I was, quote unquote, rooting for the Jags to get in. This 9-7 team, third year in the league. Boy, that's what we want. And they come out and beat the Broncos in the divisional round. I was rooting for the Steelers in 2005 to beat the Colts so the AFC title game would be in Denver, and that blew up in my face. So I think you go take care of your business and let the chips fall where they may. At the end of the day, the Broncos control their own destiny. Win 2 games. 2 games you're going to be favored in. you're the 1 seed, and then you're favored in 2 games and heading to Santa Clara if you take care of business.
All right, so then it sounds like you agree with my call this morning that the Broncos falling to a wild card would leave a sour taste on a great season because you've won 11 games in a row. And the fact that 2 home games to go to the Super Bowl versus 3 road games is just a world of difference that it sounds crazy. In a year they've overachieved, and I think we can all agree with that. They have overachieved. People picked 11, 12. I even picked 13 wins. But they could get to 14 victories. It sounds nuts, but I think we're going to be on the same page, James, that a wild card for how successful they've been, didn't lose for 3 months, would be a disappointment.
100% it would be. Yeah. Look, the Vikings overachieved last year, but at the end of the day, they lost their Week 18 showdown with the Lions and had to go on the road in the wild card round. And 14-3, as great of a season as that is, and 95% of the time, that probably wins your division, if not more. I mean, I don't know how many times. I think last year might have been the first time 14 wins didn't win it. So it almost assures you of winning your division. It is a great record. You'd be the 1 seed almost every other season. But if you're the 5 and you're going on the road in the first round, it's going to put a sour taste in your mouth. And not only that, but you're right. It's just the sheer math of it, of winning 2 games, home or road, but especially since they're at home, versus having to win 3. It's 50% less work. It's just less chances for the ball to not bounce your way, a couple of bad calls or whatever. So, yeah, so wild card at this point would be a huge disappointment. And, we may look back, and Vikings fans may look back in 10 years and say, man, that was a great year. But that's going to take a while. It ain't going to be something where by, March we're like, man, that was a really good Broncos season. I think we'll be looking back on it, especially if the playoffs play out to where the Chargers go to the Super Bowl, and that could have been Denver if they'd had the same path. And we're going to, be lamenting the fact that they couldn't pull it off. So, yeah, you know what? Expectations change when you start off great. When you're 12-2 and you got to win 2 out of 3 games, 2 of which are at home, and one of them is going to be against a third-string quarterback on the road, failing to win 2 of those would be disappointing. So, yeah, it'd be a letdown at this point. It really, really would be. And going on the road, if you got to go to Pittsburgh, that's a team that's playing better and better as the season goes on. I don't like Denver's chances as a wild card on the road. I really don't.
James, you laid it out great, and the implied odds right now have the Broncos with a 21% chance to make the Super Bowl. I would say about 15% of that chance is the Broncos getting the 1 seed and just having 2 home games to get their way to Santa Clara. I'm going to take records out of it. You just mentioned Pittsburgh is playing better. If you were to rank where your trust is with the AFC teams right now heading into the playoffs, where would you place the Broncos?
I would probably put Denver second, maybe third. I mean, look, if Josh Allen doesn't go to a Super Bowl this year, I don't know when he's going to go. I really don't. I mean, the quarterbacks that have been in his way and the guys who've been in the AFC title game seemingly every year, Mahomes and Lamar and Burrow, they're not there. So it's a quarterback-driven league. He's the best quarterback in the conference that's left. So I think they're 1, even if they don't win that division. The Patriots, I feel like, they're a year early. They're what the Broncos were last year, even though their record is better than what Denver's was. I know they got a second-year quarterback, but it's their first year with Vrabel. They've made huge strides, but I don't know that they're quite ready for it. The team I fear the most, and the team I might put 2, because I just wouldn't want to play them, is that Houston team. That defense is legit. They can shut anybody down, and with Stroud back and some of the weapons that they have, I think that would be a very tough game, especially if you stumbled and you had to go on the road back down to Houston and try and win, and not against Davis Mills, but against C.J. Stroud. That'd be tough. So I think the only team I would, walk to a window and put cash on at this point would be the Bills, but I'd probably do Denver second, Houston third. Jacksonville was impressive last week, but we always talk about the confetti test, and Will talks about, hey, can you envision this team having a parade? I just have a hard time envisioning the parade through Jacksonville with 8,000 people there. I have a hard time seeing that.
There would be dozens of them at that smaller market parade, as Sean Payton said last week.
Instead of the blue, the teal.
Yeah.
Dozens of us!
Dozens! And Liam Cohen used that as fuel. And to Liam Cohen's credit, it worked. All right, it was Pro Bowl day, James. We've got 6 of them from the Broncos. Zach Allen, Garrett Bowles, Nick Bonito, Quinn Miners, Pat Surtain, and Cortland Sutton all earning the Pro Bowl nod. 6 tied for the most in the NFL, along with the 49ers and Seahawks. Makes sense. The Ravens, what? I guess that was more name recognition than anything else. But just curious, kind of your overall thought on the Denver 6 selections, and also, do you give a lick about the Pro Bowl? And is it hard to balance maybe the fans not caring, but yes, it is significant for these guys to add it to their resumes?
Yeah, I don't care a lick about the game or the stuff that goes on down there. I think what they've tried to turn it into, I think it's fun. Like, I got teenage kids. They all like it, right? That's the target audience. It's not for guys in their 50s like me, so it's cool. But getting in is still an honor. Getting recognized by your peers is an honor. It's something that come time to get Hall of Fame consideration, Ring of Fame consideration, it's going to be brought up of how many Pro Bowls did they go to. We always talk about it with Trevor Price and Al Wilson, a couple of guys who aren't in the Ring of Fame and have the most Pro Bowls of anybody who's not. So I think Garrett Bowles, and we talked about this probably a couple of years ago. I mean, gets another contract here. He's going to play a dozen years in Denver if he plays it out as the starting left tackle, a premium position. That's Ring of Fame, caliber type of a career. But you need a couple of Pro Bowls at least, maybe an All-Pro or two to be in that consideration. So I think it's big for him. I think Cortland falls in that same category, right? Moving up the all-time receptions list. But what would we have looked at? We'd have said, yeah, but he had the one Pro Bowl. It was in his second year. It was before he got hurt. Like, was he really that great afterward? I think it's big for him. And, Sean Payton said he's everything you'd want to have in a football player. And I know that maybe sounds cliche, but think about that position, right? Like, you don't call wide receivers, the diva position. You don't call him the ultimate football player very often. Like Hines Ward was one. He would go out and block, and he would do all the dirty work. But typically speaking, they're on the sidelines complaining if they're not getting the football coming their way, and they're running, 3/4 speed routes when they're the secondary receiver, and they act like they're blocking on a run play, but they're really not. So that was a pretty high compliment from Sean Payton today for Cortland Sutton. And I think the fact that 6 years removed from his last Pro Bowl, he gets another one, and he's turning back into – he's not the same guy athletically that he was, but he's closer this year than he has been since the injury in 2020. I think it's really cool that he's back to that level and that he's kind of done it by going from a guy who maybe he would have been one of those diva receivers that could, win all the 50-50 balls and all these big plays and be on SportsCenter all the time and all the rest of it. But he had to kind of transform himself when he was playing through injury for a couple of seasons. I think it's really cool that he got back to a Pro Bowl level.
Everybody circles Christmas for a long, long time, and Denver sports fans have had Christmas this year circled for a long time with the Broncos and Chiefs and the Nuggets and Timberwolves both playing. I ask you, James, which game are you more excited for on Thursday?
I'm more excited for the Nuggets game, but Jake, 8:30 tip, which means what, 8:45, 8:50? I'm going to be up. It's Christmas morning. I'm going to be up at the crack of dawn. I mean, man, I might have to take a nap or lay off the eggnog. That's going to be a tough one. So if it was a 4 o'clock tip, I'd really be excited about it. But no, that's the more interesting game. It really is. That's a good rivalry. It'll be another good test to see where the Nuggets are at. That Ball Arena will be comical at that time of night on Christmas night. So that game I'm more excited about. Look, we're all going to watch the Bronco game. It's going to get a better rating. It has more importance. But if the Bronco game's not 30-9, something went wrong. And so it's like, it's hard to get too excited about a game where there's really, you got to win it in terms of the standings, but it's kind of a no-win, right? Like, unless you just go out and win 42-0, people are going to find something to complain about given the setup. So, long-winded answer, Jake, but I'm more interested in Nuggets Timberwolves.
All right, James, we'll get you out of here on this. Jake and I were recounting when Andy Reid, with his swagger intact, threw a fat guy touchdown against the Broncos on Christmas night about a decade ago. I couldn't remember the name. Jake couldn't remember the name. The text line lit us up with the name. Who threw the fat guy touchdown? I understand I'm putting you on the spot. Who threw the fat guy touchdown for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, I thought Terry Post scored it. Are you asking who threw it or who scored it?
All right. Well, I think you answered my question because the text line lit up with Terry Post. So you got it right. But now you're going to have me go down a YouTube rabbit hole. You think someone threw the ball to Poe and he was the one catching it in the end zone?
If memory serves, yeah, it was like I think it was a pass. Maybe he was lined up in the backfield. But listen, I think Sean Payton would endear himself to Broncos country if he remembers that and does something similar, right? Like a DJ Jones touchdown to make that game 38-6. And then in the press conference, say exactly why he did it. And one thing I really like about Sean Payton, and there's things I've been critical of, the one thing I like about it in him is he's a student of the game. He's a student of the history of the game. Break out the year, break out the exact play, and say, hey, Andy Reid did it to us on Christmas to rub salt in the wound, so we did it tonight. That would be fantastic.
Oh, that'd be so great. Maybe get Garrett Bowles that elusive touchdown he almost had earlier this year, where we can all picture him laid out on the ground. James, great stuff. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and we appreciate your time.
Yeah, appreciate it. Hey, you guys have done a great job today. Keep it up. And, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone.
All right, thanks so much. There he goes, James Marilat, the editor of DenverSports.com. Said a couple interesting things I want to react to. Plus, Sean Payton did get asked about KC's QBs today. You'll love his answer. We'll do both next.
Will the Broncos take care of business in primetime and sweep the Chiefs? We'll break it all down in a special Christmas Day edition of the Fan Football Pregame Show, live on game day starting at 4 p.m. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
The other night, I was looking at old holiday photos, years where I felt sharp, energized, really present. Somewhere along the way, I stopped feeling like the man, that guy that my wife and my kids are looking for every single day. I was tired all the time, skipping my workouts, putting on weight, failing to get that proper amount of sleep, and my sex drive just wasn't there. If you're dealing with the same thing that I'm dealing with, then you need to go see my friends at Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic today. They are experts in treating low testosterone and other men's sexual health conditions. They successfully treated tens of thousands of men that were dealing with low T. And a lot of these men have seen amazing differences that these treatments can make in their life. So if you're just like these men that are dealing with low T, then within just a few weeks of the treatments, you'll feel your energy return, the brain fog will go away, your sleep will improve, as with those workouts. Take the low T quiz on their website. It's a simple 10-question quiz full of yes or no answers. It takes 2 minutes to do. Then what you're going to do is schedule a consult with Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. They're going to draw your blood and have the results within 30 minutes. They also have 5 locations out there to serve you, so there are no excuses. Fort Collins, North Denver, Central Denver, Castle Rock, and Colorado Springs. Give them a call today at 720-440-7900 or visit RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
You know that feeling when you catch a glimpse in the mirror and think, hey, I look 10 years younger. That's what happens when you stop dieting and start doing Soda weight loss.
I tried point counting, calorie counting, shots, and nothing has worked until Soda weight loss.
Soda weight loss gives you a personal nutritionist you can text anytime.
Everybody's great here. Everybody's encouraging. There were some times where I felt down and they brought me back up. If you stick with this program, you will lose weight and you will get to your goal weight.
When you sign up for Soda weight loss, your partner joins for free.
If you're ready to feel stronger, healthier, and yes, look and feel 10 years younger, this is your moment. No meds, no gimmicks, just real results with real support.
Remember, sign up now and your partner joins for free. Visit SodaWeightLoss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
I just want to entertain people and make a living. From Focus Features, they had a dream.
I want to sing, I want to dance, I want to garden, I want a cat.
All they needed was each other.
We should call ourselves Lightning and Thunder, a Neil Diamond experience.
This Christmas, based on a true story.
You've ever had a shot, pal, this is it.
Hugh Jackman, Kate Hudson.
It's good.
So good.
Song Sung Blue, rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Only in theaters this Thursday.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. The Fed dropped rates for the 4th time. And if you're a homeowner, you should call American Financing today. You could be saving real money every month. High interest debt is crushing budgets across the country, but homeowners who act now are using their equity to wipe it out. American Financing customers are saving an average of $800 a month, with some getting rates in the low 5s. A massive difference compared to credit cards charging 20% or more. more. Speak with a salary-based mortgage consultant and find out exactly what you qualify for. There are never any upfront fees to find out how much you can save. Move quickly, and you could even delay 2 mortgage payments, putting cash in your pocket immediately, giving you back some of that money you spent during the holidays. Call American Financing today. The sooner you act, the quicker you can save. 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. APR for rates in the 5s start at 6.196% for well-qualified buyers. Call 303-695-7000 for details about credit costs and terms.
CVS Health supports people in the moments that matter, from picking up a prescription to connecting care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/Investor Day.
A new exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card is your opportunity to go from cardholder to ticket holder for the FIFA World Cup 2026. For a limited time, when you're approved for a new customized cash rewards or unlimited cash rewards Visa credit card, you're eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more today at bfa.com/cardfwc26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America N.A. in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Helzberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is going to be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop in store at Helzberg.com for up to 50% off.
Hey guys, it's Mark Schlereth. I just made one of the best decisions of my life. I got rid of my glasses. I went to Cutarelli Vision and had refractive lens exchange, RLE. I wore glasses for distance vision, but I got to that inevitable point in life where I was always needing those reading glasses just to do about anything, and half the time I couldn't find them. Seeing menus, texting, reading my computer, or studying film, it was a struggle. But now I see the world perfectly, near and far, without any glasses, thanks to Cutarelli Vision RLE, the perfect permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And here's the cherry on top. You'll never develop a cataract. Dr. Cutarelli is Colorado's most experienced with over 90,000 vision correction procedures. You can trust him to know if it's the right time for you and RLE. Schedule your free Zoom consultation at coloradorle.com. Cutarelli Vision RLE, no readers, glasses, or contacts, or cataracts. coloradorle.com.
It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, as we go down this rabbit hole on a Tuesday, December 23rd, it's Will Peterson and Jake Shapiro hanging out for The Drive this afternoon. Zach and Phil back on Friday. It was a throw by Dontari Poe on Christmas against the Broncos, and he threw it to Demetrius Harris, was the guy who caught the touchdown pass. Credit to James Marilette. Appreciate him joining us for getting it right. Half right. He got the Dontari Poe part right, but it was Poe throwing the ball. And I have just found this as well. He made history, becoming the heaviest player to throw a touchdown in NFL history, and completed a hat trick of offensive scores, a run, a reception, and a pass that season. So Andy Reid was rubbing salt in the wounds of the Broncos. And 9 years later, Jake, maybe Sean Payton's got something up his sleeve, returning the favor. Of course, Sean was with the Saints at the time. We get it. But maybe the Broncos can embarrass the Chiefs on Christmas night in their place once again and do something fun like that.
I'm really upset that that mark, that historical mark of heaviest passing touchdown ever, is not given to Jared Lorenzen, the hefty lefty, one of my all-time favorite NFL players, who obviously wasn't in the NFL for much, but played in the Arena League and was awesome. R.I.P. Jared. But yeah, I'm looking at this Broncos game as the perfect opportunity to get back at the Chiefs 10 years later. And I think James pointed that out so well. It's like, give me the Pat Surtain offensive touchdown he's wanted so long. Give me Garrett Bowles doing something. It doesn't even have to be as wild as Poe, But man, DJ Jones with his smile getting a touchdown to end that game, that would be a lot of fun, Will.
Oh, it'd be great. It would be great. And then again, there's part of me that thinks, they're going to roll them. And then there's part of me that thinks, why are we talking about fat guy touchdowns? Let's just win the game. Could the Broncos be in a 14-14 slugfest? I guess, because that's what they've done a handful of times this year, is played down to the level of competition. But the Chiefs,
I want my Christmas ham and my eggnog too.
There you go. There you go. And the cherry on top of all that would, of course, be an embarrassing win over the Chiefs, and then the Nuggets handle the Timberwolves at Ball Arena. But Chiefs quarterback room is a mess. It's a disaster. And Sean Payton got asked about it today, knowing that Patrick Mahomes and now Gardner Minshew won't play in this football game.
Yeah, so two different players. We'll have film on them. Look, you're defending the offense, a lot of RPOs. They do a great job moving guys around, getting the ball to their skill in space. So that part of it kind of doesn't change.
I love that. Well, they got skill guys. They got RPOs coming. He's saying they're going to watch film. What film are you going to watch on these two Chiefs quarterbacks? I mean, with all due respect, Sean, no one, unless you were a diehard, South Dakota State football fan, no one knew who Chris Oladukin was a couple of days ago. And that's the guy they're trotting out there to start against the Broncos. They signed another cat off the Bills practice squad. But the more we've talked about this game the last 3.5 hours, Jake, the more the reality has hit me of this is the perfect get-right game. It's the perfect get-back-on-track game. And we've had this conversation many a times. I actually think style points matter on Thursday. I know there's going to be a slice of Broncos country that says, hey, win 2 games, you're the 1 seed. I don't care if it's 17-16. I don't care how ugly. I just need a win. I think for just a confidence standpoint, coming off a loss where Bo Nix did say they got hit in the mouth, I think winning and winning convincingly does matter on Thursday night.
Yeah, and I've been on Team Sean in terms of you have to swallow this game against Jacksonville and really feel this defeat. But I think you can win with style points and still feel pretty bad about what happened to Jacksonville and make the adjustments ahead of Week 18 against the Chargers. So if you can grow a little bit of confidence from beating the Chiefs and just kicking them down and then know, that was nothing. They didn't play anybody. We still got to work on that. That could be, honestly, the perfect launching pad for another win streak, Will, that ends in Santa Clara.
That would be fun. Yes, of course, Super Bowl 50 was in Santa Clara a decade ago. The house that Von built, if you will, Von Miller, and the Broncos trying to go back there. Another underrated thing about this game, even if it's Oladukin, is the 1737 tells me that Oladukin is better than Minshew, and we are clueless. With all due respect, Gardner Minshew's won some big NFL games, and Oladukin played at South Dakota State.
Well, they did score more points after Minshew got hurt last week, but they were also playing the Tennessee Titans.
Jake, they scored 9 points.
More of it was when Chris was in the game than Garner.
Not an impressive stat, I'm sorry.
I'm just telling you.
Gardner went 3 of 8. Oladukin went 11 of 16, took 4 sacks, had a QBR of 24.1. But all that said, I think the defense kind of needs to start feeling themselves again. And what better way to start feeling yourselves again than maybe force 2 or 3 turnovers against Chris Oladukin and a KC offense really devoid of playmakers at this point in time?
Yeah, they're unlikely to have Rashee Rice. Their running game has been atrocious all year long. Their offensive line has not been as good as advertised. This is a chance for the Broncos to just get after a young quarterback who has no experience, a run game that has been devoid of any sort of identity, and, those corners can just absolutely feast on the fact that they're better. The one thing that the Chiefs do better than you is they have a really good tight end, a Hall of Fame tight end, and you have not great instincts in terms of guarding the tight end, but I'm with you, Will. I think this is really an opportunity for Vance to flex his muscles, and hopefully maybe they get 2-3 turnovers in this game, and then it kind of just inspires them. The ball starts breaking the right way for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it would be nice. You think about the turnover that PS2 created against the Packers and just how significant it was in flipping the momentum of that game. Denver outscores Green Bay 20-3 the rest of the way. And then against Jacksonville, it felt like every time, okay, we need a key turnover. We need a key stop. I mean, that was the thing with the Jaguars is the Broncos have been so bend but don't break in the red zone this year. Unfortunately, they bent, but they also broke against Jacksonville. Is it greedy for me to want them to hold the Chiefs in single digits? Am I asking for too much that I don't want Kansas City to score 10 or more points? My goal for this Denver defense on Christmas night is KC leaves Arrowhead with 9 or fewer points on the scoreboard.
I think that's reasonable. Again, the 2 quarterbacks on Kansas City's roster that are healthy had never completed a pass in the NFL before this past Sunday.
And the 1110 says, guys, forget style points. Let's just get out of there without any injuries. That's a fair take because they are beat up. You're probably not going to see Dre Greenlaw. Luke Wattenberg's going to be dicey. You're not going to see Pat Bryant out there. Obviously, Brandon Jones is on IR. Yes, the Broncos can't afford injuries, especially any significant or major ones. They need to win this game, and then they need to sit on their couch and cheer for the Houston Texans to beat the LA Chargers on Saturday.
You know what I'd love to see on Thursday night? And you might not like this, Will, because I know you. I'd like to see an entire half of Jarrett Stidham. Let's get up 30-3, and let's just see Jarrett Stidham in the second half because the Broncos shut it down.
Okay. All right, 30-3 in one half is ambitious. Even for a beat-up Chiefs team, that would be a beat down and a whooping. But yeah,
couple turnovers, it's possible.
If you're up 30-3, I wouldn't be opposed to tossing Stiddy out there. And an entire half, maybe that's greedy. Let's meet in the middle. Let's call it the fourth quarter. Let's say you're up 30-3 going into the fourth quarter, and here comes Stiddy out there for some mop-up duty. That's what he's best at. He was not a spark when they benched Russell Wilson, but he can be a good mopper-upper.
Stiddy and Jaleel. Let's see it.
And maybe some Tyler Bidet mixed in there as well.
And we'll be the only ones watching because everyone else in Denver will be watching Ant versus Joker.
I think you're underestimating, bro. I think even then people are going to know I can get to the Nuggets in the second quarter. I got to watch my Broncos pursue the number 1 seed for the first time since 2015. All right, let's put a bow on this thing with our guy Chad Andrus coming up next.
Denver is headed to Arrowhead for a Christmas showdown with Kansas City. Get yourself ready for kickoff with Denver Game Day, powered by Common Spirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos. Live on Game Day starting at 2 p.m. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Okay, guys, the holidays are here, and you need a gift for your wife or that special lady, something really nice yet affordable. Hey, Mark Schlereth here with a terrific idea. This year, buy her a gift package to Beau Visage Skincare and Spa. They specialize in wonderful services like fabulous European facials, soothing therapeutic massage, and much, much more. But guys, let's be honest, you can buy a facial or massage anywhere. But at Beau Visage, you're not just buying a service. Instead, you're bringing your guest a true luxurious spa experience. Believe me, this place is great. And you'll never go wrong buying a gift package to Beau Visage. Plus, all their packages are very competitively priced and easy shopping. All you have to do is call them at 303-779-5002 or find them online at bvspa.com. This holiday, give her the gift of rest and relaxation, a luxurious gift of Beau Visage. Call them today, 303-779-5002 or bvspa.com. That's bvspa.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BOOST25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Brandon Stokely here for Colorado's hometown HVAC team, ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Is your heating system struggling to perform and need to be traded? It has never been easier to get a quote for a new heating system. Rocks Heating and Air offers a free online heating and cooling quoting system so that you can quickly and accurately get pricing on a new system. Only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair, ROX rocks.
Heating and Air.
Dan Jacobs for 303 Law 4040, and I'm here with that beautiful voice you hear on the other end of the phone oftentimes when you call 303 Law 4040. It's my lovely wife, Kimberly. Kim, I know you and I had so much fun the other day. We actually met with a couple that had been in an accident up north in their house the other day, and Randy was so excited. He's like, I can't believe it. It's the lovely wife. She's right here in my kitchen.
He's too kind. It was so really great to meet him and his wife and his pets and just be able to help them.
I think it helps that when you answer the phone, when people call 303 Law 4040, it makes things, I know calling a lawyer can be scary, but I don't know, your soothing voice just makes it a little bit easier.
Well, I just want to help. That's all. And I know how to do that.
I love the holidays. I always like to wish our listeners happy holidays. Would you like to do so as well?
Absolutely. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful new year.
And I hope you never need us, but just in case, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040. That's 303 Law 4040.
From the Alpine Bank family, member FDIC, to yours, we wish you peace, happiness, and serenity. Merry Christmas.
This holiday season, AutoNation is unwrapping the biggest gift of all, the car you actually want with zero down and no payments for 90 days. With our coast-to-coast inventory of nearly 100,000 new and used cars, trucks, and crossovers, you'll find exactly what you're looking for. Zero down, no payments until April. That's the deal you deserve on the car you love. Hurry to your nearest AutoNation store or AutoNation.com. Limited term financing on approved credit. Interest accrues from date of purchase on deferred payments. See store for details.
Stay up to date on the Broncos with our 9 News Broncos insider, Mike Kliss. Presented by Fitness Gallery. Hear the latest from every practice and every game every single week during football season. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
All right, we are wrapping this thing up on a Tuesday. It's Will Peterson and Jake Shapiro hanging out for the drive. Zach and Phil will be back on Friday. And we welcome in our guy, Chad Andrus, who will be taking you home on Denver Sports tonight. Chad, what's up, man? How you feeling about Broncos and Chiefs being only 48 hours away from kickoff?
It's good. It's good because I'm glad it gets here early this week with all the other stuff going on and waiting. I hate waiting for games. If it were up to me, every game would be played with a Mountain Time morning or afternoon start always forever. Like, I don't like waiting all night for games, especially when it's football. So if you give it to me 3 days early, absolutely sign me up. Let's go. Give me the full slate on Christmas, all the football, all the NBA. Let's do it. The sooner the better. I don't know what I'm going to do on Saturday and Sunday when we're waiting for the college football playoff games and some of the other NFL games I'm not terribly interested in, but yes, get here as fast as you can.
And do you think it's a good thing for the Broncos? Because Sean's talking about swallowing and digesting the loss to the Jaguars. I mean, I can't imagine they watched a ton of Jacksonville film. I think they had to turn the page very quickly to the Chiefs.
Yeah, and here's why I think it's good, because of the state the Chiefs are in and who you're playing. Because you're going to get the mini bye before the Chargers, which is the game that really counts.
Right.
So that's why it's good, because you're going to get the extra break that they're not. So they're going to benefit in that regard because the Chiefs are just not themselves.
And I think, too, and Jake, curious your thoughts on this as well, that Chargers-Texans game on Saturday is going to be massive, obviously. I mean, the Broncos could clinch the division from the comfort of their couch on Saturday. But I also think that, Week 18 being for the AFC West and for potentially the number 1 seed, Chad, is that a roundabout way a good thing? If you win, because then you did have to play the starters in Week 18, you take off the bye week, and then you're ready to go for the divisional round versus if you had wrapped everything up on Christmas, we're talking December 25th to January 17th or 18th in between meaningful football games.
It's good for us.
True. Touche.
It's good fodder. It's good for excitement. It's good for the fans. I think this team needs rest, and I do think any hope of going to the Super Bowl is reliant on getting that top seed. I don't see a path to them going, much less winning. If you're talking about wanting to win the Super Bowl and have a parade, I don't see that happening playing 3 road games.
No, it doesn't feel likely.
Chad, what are you more excited for on Christmas? The Broncos or the Nuggets?
Well, I mean, it's hard for me to be terribly excited about the Broncos situation. It's like, okay, it's here, and let's just make sure we take care of business and get it done so we can move forward to what the real entree will be in that Chargers game. But also, like, it's hard for me to get terribly excited about the Nuggets when they're not at full strength. I really enjoy watching them play, and there's an interesting conversation we're going to get into. John Davis and I will be on the morning show tomorrow about our enjoyment level with the 3 teams having so much success that they're having right now. So I will watch both. You know, the timing lines up to where hopefully the Broncos will have it in hand by the time you can focus on the Nuggets.
See, where I look at the Chiefs game and I'm like, this is kind of a no-win situation, as James put it, because you either win or you're in a really tough spot. To me, with the Nuggets right now, it's like you're in a no-lose situation in a way. Like, you either win and it's awesome and you beat the Timberwolves, your rival, and you get the season series on them, or you lose and you're like, well, CB and AG are coming back in a couple weeks and the magic and pixie dust is finally worn off on the bubble gum and shoestrings they put together for the last month.
I see that, but I'm so wrapped up in the Nuggets and what I think they ultimately can be that I look at every game now and I'm like, yeah, they're 21-7, but they should be, 24-4. So I'm already like, all right, we've given away 3, so let's not give away 3 more. As much love as Oklahoma City gets from everybody, I want the Nuggets to get that recognition because of the quality of basketball I believe they're capable of playing. But yeah, it's hard for me to just write off any Nugget game right now just because AG and CB are out.
One of those games they gave away was at the start of this month against Dallas. They lost that game. Cooper Flagg had a really nice game. Really impressed me. They're playing Dallas again tonight. Peyton Watson returned yesterday. Nuggets had one of the best three-point shooting games in the history of their franchise yesterday. And this is setting up a 3 games in 4 nights with Christmas. This is a tough situation for any NBA team, but this is a team they should absolutely blow out of the water, and we should all be looking forward to Minnesota, right?
It should be that way. I don't know if they're wired that way based on the personalities of their leaders and who they follow. The good news is nobody played 30 minutes last night. So I think they are very much in the spot. After losing 4 straight at home, I think it was a little bit of the kick in the behind to go, hey, we need to focus on business at hand, not be screwing around and take this more game by game, even though it is still pretty early in the season. I'm hoping they take that approach tonight.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping that as well. And the Avalanche will take on the Mammoth at Ball Arena coming up a little bit after 7. And then, of course, those are the appetizers for Christmas. Just to bring it full circle to the Broncos, would it be a disappointment in your eyes if they're a wild card team? That's something we've been asking folks today.
It would be from where they were after winning 11 in a row.
Right.
It would be a disappointment to lose 2 out of the last 3 and see it all slip away when it was just on such a roll for so long. But you can't say it was a disappointing season when very, very few people, only the blindest of orange glasses wearers, had them reaching this level of expectation.
Yeah.
So
I guess Cecil and I wear those orange glasses. We both had them at 13-4 before the year. Chad, what do you got coming up on the program tonight?
We're just going to do a little bit of a recap, right, for everybody that's out there either finishing up their work week before the holiday or the hustle and bustle of the last-second presents. We'll get into what Sean said today, the injury report, the Pro Bowlers on the Broncos side, preview both of the games tonight with Avalanche and Nuggets. And then because it's Dante and I, we're just a little bit more partial to what's left in the college football season than maybe everybody else. So we may dissect that a little bit for what's coming up at New Year's.
Awesome. I'll be listening on my way home. Dante and Drew, great job. Jake, thanks for being here. Wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. It's Denver Sports Tonight coming up next.
Did Nikola Jokic just set an NBA record that will never be broken?
That is a record that he is going to put away, retire it, lock it away, stoke. It's never going to be beaten. I am confident in saying that Nikola Jokic is going to put the all-time assist record by a center in a place where it will never be touched ever again.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you